hear from his counsel as to what he feared, why, and how. And my motion would simply postpone consideration of this contempt motion until we hear from him.
The primary question of the hearing last week was to understand why Dr. Fauci made the decision to do this funding of this research in Wuhan. I can't understand how there could be any liability attached to a question of why. That's his opinion of.
You're watching theDove TV, encouraging and informative for Salem, Kaiser, and the Willamette Valley. Seen on KSLM 27 and these Dove TV affiliates. Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove, better known as Friday Eve here in Doveville.
Yeah.
And Jerry Bilden is here.
I'm back.
Leg and all.
Hey, you know what? We got some really nice notes, letters, and calls the other day. And on one of the calls, somebody said, "Hey, Perry, ask Jerry how he sleeps with that thing on."
Yeah.
Who's sleeping?
So, Jerry, how do you sleep with that thing on? Do you hang it up? Do you hang it from the ceiling? What do you do?
I got a blue foam wedge, foamy, bluey to some people, and it's kind of restricting. You know, the only problem is, in the middle of the night when you want to kind of turn on your side or change positions, you can't.
Okay.
You're kind of locked in position. But anyway, thanks for asking.
All right. Good morning to you. Boy, there's a ton of news going on, and as we speak, the Senate is in one of their committees deciding whether or not they're going to bring contempt charges against Dr. Fauci. We're monitoring that as we speak, so we may be going to that here shortly. The smoke is everywhere. I think the whole state is under a blanket of smoke. It's really bad. Air quality is really bad. So we got those issues, but a lot going on in the news. But it is Thursday. Anything special?
Oh, yeah. Okay, it's National Fresh Breath Day. It urges appreciation of oral hygiene and its importance. Get up and brush your teeth. Go kiss someone.
Do you floss?
I do floss, yeah, and I even do what's that liquid? The
water pick?
Yeah, water pick, floss, brush.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I do it all.
Okay, we're in that camp too.
Yeah, absolutely, it's really good.
You ever have a water pick fight with Pam?
What a thought. Honey, you ready? That's good. All right, Zach, it's also National, just the thought is good. National Social Engineering Day. Now, this day aims to raise awareness about social engineering threats and promote better cybersecurity practices. I hear social engineering and I think of the left. I think of the progressivism. I think of what's going on.
Public education.
Yeah, boom, absolutely. So be aware. Be aware of what's going on there, Mom and Dad, because they're doing it to your kids and our grandkids. Be careful.
Okay.
Okay, now this is a challenge, especially for somebody in certain conditions. It is National Wiggle Your Toes Day. Offering... Don't look down there. Offering people the chance to show off the digits.
Hey, wait a minute! You got a shoe on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's called a Hoka recovery slide. Yeah. Oh man, it's the best.
Really?
Yeah.
Hoka.
It's got it's Hoka. It's got a rocker sole on it with that big padded Hoka sole on it, and it just helps you walk a little bit easier. Plus, I can get it on. I can slide my foot into it. Those bottom pins that go into my bone down there? They're a little bit too low to get a shoe on. The tongue comes up and bumps into them. And it doesn't really feel that good. So
okay, it's too early.
Enough about that.
Okay.
All right, yeah. But wiggle your toes. Enjoy enjoy it if you can. And it is also one thing, and we all enjoy, at least most of us, National Root Beer Float Day. Oh yeah, reminding us to float a scoop of vanilla ice cream in an ice-cold mug of frothy root beer. The classic beverage creates a creamy treat loved by generations, and it does go back generations because it was created all the way back in August of 1893. Then it was known as a black cow, and of course it was probably used with what they called then sarsaparilla, huh?
You know, I think it was, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And it was, this happened in Cripple Creek, Colorado, in a mining camp. And Frank J. Wisner, thank you, Mr. Wisner, because we all love the root beer float.
Okay.
What a treat.
Remember A&W?
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. What's the status of A&W? Are they around anymore?
Well, I don't know, but they were notorious for the root beer float and their big hamburgers.
Yes, yeah. And they had the Papa Burger, the Mama Burger, the Teen Burger. Yes.
Hey, we're aging ourselves here.
We really are, yeah, but, you know, that's a given.
All right, good stuff. All right, let's check in with Alfred and see what's going on with the weather today.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, patchy smoke gives way to sunny skies with daytime highs reaching the mid to upper 90s in Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Smoke continues through the Willamette Valley with sunshine and 97 in Salem and Eugene. Albany climbs to 96, while Corvallis tops out near 95 with a calm northwest wind. Central Oregon stays hot and sunny with smoke persisting in Prineville near 100, 98 in Bend, and 97 in Sun River. Over in Boise, smoky, sunny, and hot with a high of 101. Starting off sunny along the Oregon coast, then through the day, decreasing clouds in Coos Bay and Crescent City in the upper 60s to mid-70s. In Port Orford, sunny and 71, while Brookings settles into the upper 50s. Across southern Oregon, patchy smoke gives way to sunny and hot skies with Grants Pass and Medford both reaching 107. Ashland climbs to 102, while Klamath Falls tops out in the upper 90s. Sunny and hot weather in Northern California with a high of 103 for Wairika. Redding reaches 104 and Chico 102, while Fort Bragg starts with patchy dense fog before turning mostly sunny in the low 60s. Around the Bay Area, fog, then sunny skies bring Santa Rosa to 83 and Napa 85, decreasing clouds in low 70s in San Francisco, while San Jose becomes sunny with a high of 88. Across Central California, sunny and hot weather continues with highs near 100 in Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto. Fresno and Visalia have a daytime high of 104, while Bakersfield tops out near 105 with temperatures cooling in the low 70s later tonight. And that's a snapshot of Thursday's weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there's a new picture. That's the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
And that is the morning commute this morning.
Aren't you glad you're not on it?
Isn't that something?
Good to be looking at, not be on.
Yeah. I remember this was quite a few years ago when the San Francisco earthquake, and I was supposed to go live on NBC that morning. And the earthquake hit, and these cars, that bridge was swaying like crazy.
Oh, man, I bet. They are suspension bridges after all. Yeah.
So if you look, there's a lower deck level there, and they call that fun.
Some people call it a necessity, I guess.
don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Or you can take the tube, I guess.
Right. And, of course, we had that story yesterday on flying cars. Maybe that's coming.
There you go.
You can avoid it all.
Well, where are you going to land? What are you going to do? Now you're going to have clouded airways.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and
this whole drone delivery thing, I still don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. Okay. Well, there are times when it is a great comfort to know that God is with you. Boy, and we all know those times in our lives. But here with great encouragement is Dr. David Jeremiah.
One of the evidences that you are a spiritual Christian is that you'll find yourself singing and speaking in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs. You'll have a melody in your heart. You'll be a happy person, a joyous person. Joined together with these first three words in this verse is this word, giving thanks. The Bible tells us in Ephesians 5:20, we should be giving thanks always for all things to God the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. The third evidence of a spirit-filled Christian is the gratitude of the heart. Thanksgiving to God for all that he has done. Literally, the text said, being filled with the Spirit, giving thanks always for all things to God. Now, I have to admit, there's a mystery in all of this that's hard to put into words, but when the Holy Spirit fills you, something happens that you can't quite explain, but you can absolutely experience it. And when adversity comes into your life, you begin to sense God's presence in a special way. And some of you have actually told me that. You've said, Pastor Jeremiah, I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't known that God was with me during this time. Or, Pastor Jeremiah, God was really close to me. How many of you know God is never more close to you at any one time than he is at any other? But you become sensitive to his presence during times of difficulty.
Oh, yes.
Amen to that. All right. Good morning to you. 9 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at some of the top stories this morning. And first of all, as we speak, the Senate is gathering the committee that is being led by Senator Paul. As you know, they brought Dr. Fauci in, and it was just an amazing thing to watch as he declared the fifth 111 times. So when it was all over, the committee has now considered the fact of bringing contempt of Congress charges against him. And Senator Ron Johnson, at the beginning of his opening comments just a few moments ago, here's what he had to say.
Last Wednesday's hearing was an excellent hearing from a standpoint of legitimate questions being raised, legitimate questions the American people want answers to, legitimate questions that some of them only Anthony Fauci, Saint Fauci, Mr. Science could answer. And even though we have quotes of him saying, I'm not afraid of any oversight committee, I'm happy to talk to any oversight committee, I have nothing to hide, that's not the position he took last Wednesday. What he displayed last Wednesday was contempt for Congress.
Okay, so do we have the hearing going on now? Scott, do you have that? Can we go to it real quick? I think
place somewhere where we can get an email. Certainly, I'll put these in the records without objection. Certainly would be open to see any emails that actually told us about this. We can't find any in any of our electronic records, and we'd be open to seeing that, but I would like to do this without objection.
Without objection. Seeing no other
Mr. Chairman,
motions, the
Mr. Chairman,
question is on
Mr.
reporting of
Chairman,
an original
pursuant to Committee
resolution
Rule 6B,
regarding.
if I may, Mr. Chairman. Go ahead.
Seeing no other motions, the question is on reporting of an original resolution regarding contempt of Congress. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Yes.
Senator Langford.
Aye.
Senator Scott.
Yes.
Senator Hawley.
Aye.
Senator Moreno.
On behalf of the millions of people harmed by Anthony Fauci, resoundingly yes.
Senator Ernst. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
No.
Senator Hassan.
No.
Senator Blumenthal. No. Senator Fetterman. No. Senator Kim. No. Senator Gallego.
No by proxy.
Senator Slotkin.
No by proxy.
Senator Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 8, the nays are 5. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 0, the nays are 2. On this vote, the yeas are 8, the nays are 5, and the motion is agreed to.
Mr. Chairman, pursuant
I
to
haven't
committee rule.
recognized you.
Mr. Chairman.
We've had ample remarks on this. The chair will limit remarks to 2 minutes. I will give you another chance to state your opinion, which has been amply stated. You have 2 minutes.
Well, Mr. Chairman, pursuant to Committee Rule 6B and Senate Rule 26, Section 10.
so. They're going to fight over the rules, but that was that's the vote, and it looks like he's being held to contempt. Now, I don't know. They're going to do with some Senate ruling here.
Okay.
This is very complicated stuff, so they're going to go on for a couple of more minutes and argue this. But the bottom line is that Dr. Fauci is being brought up on contempt charges for Congress. In other words, congressional contempt charges.
Okay, what does it mean? What are the repercussions if this happens?
Okay, that is the muddy water now.
Okay.
Because does the blanket immunity, that has to be, does the blanket immunity stop this? He gave opening remarks, and then he took the fifth. That is a legal
Oh, yeah.
nightmare.
Right.
being held contempt of Congress is in itself very serious charge. I mean, you can't go to prison for this,
Right.
okay? So the question is, does it go to the full Senate for a vote? Or does it go immediately to DOJ, given the circumstances that he basically violated his Fifth Amendment rights? So it's very legally complicated. You can hear, I had John O'Connor on talking about it. You had Alan Dershowitz talking about it. There seems to be very conflicting points of view as to where this is going to go.
Okay.
But stage one was to convict him of contempt of Congress, and it looks like it's heading to that now.
Wow. Wow.
So that's a big deal as we open up our day today. All right, a couple of other stories. This is really interesting. Russia is deploying North Korea missile units to Ukraine.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. Well, you know, they've been in cahoots with the North Koreans. They've had ground troops involved in the fighting. So it's going further, huh?
So, yes, North Korea is supplying supplies to Russia, and one of them is a Russia missile attack so that Russia can continue missile attacks upon Ukraine, which they did yesterday. 17 people died in this. Russia has begun deploying North Korea missile units equipped up to 120 ballistic missiles and 6 launches for use in the war against Ukraine. Now, here's a couple of questions. Okay, question number one, are you telling me that all this time that the Russian army has been a paper tiger? That they don't have this themselves?
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting comment, but it appears to be, huh?
Number two, that they're running out of troops and they have to borrow them from North Korea?
Yeah.
And number three, North Korea is supplying Russia with missiles to attack Ukraine. This thing has gotten really bad.
Right.
And the only thing I can say is I am literally surprised at Putin.
Yeah.
I thought he was a human being.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So,
and you mentioned the attack yesterday. There was a projectile that fell onto a crowded beach on the Black Sea,
Right.
And a number of Russians. Seven people were killed. I think even 4 kids. Now, Russia is claiming that a Ukrainian drone attacked. But it appears, and the video seems to be, that there was a Ukraine drone in the vicinity. It was shot down by the Russians, and it was the debris that fell down from the drone that struck the beach crowd. So, again, there's going to be a lot of propaganda around it, and I don't know if we'll ever really find out what actually happened, because honestly, I don't think that Ukraine is into attacking a crowded beach with, people on vacation.
Look, this war is bad, and it's another one. And it's anyway. If there's ever a war that should end, it's this one. And why it's not is beyond me. So, all right, this is kind of interesting. Look for this to be an opportunity for the press. There's some polls that came out that showed Marco Rubio substantially ahead of Vice President Vance.
Okay.
Marco Rubio, 85% to 49%. 85% of the Colorado State University did this survey, and Vance finishes second with 49%. Now, that's a 36-point spread, okay? So here's the deal. You kind of look at this and you go, okay, so obviously there's some numbers in there that don't make sense. But the point is this. Rubio is out-polling Vance.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And so here, I'll come back to the other part of the story, but here's what Vice President Vance said about this poll.
Oh, man. What I think is there are a few topics that I want to talk about less than what office I'm going to run for years down the road when I'm having a good time and trying to do good work in the job that the American people already elected me to do. Look, as I've answered this question probably in any number of ways. I love Marco. I think he's a great Secretary of State. He's become a very, very dear friend. But I think both of us are very much focused on accomplishing the American people's business right now. If I was the American people, there are few things that I would hate more than a person who's barely been in one office for a year and a half, who's angling for a job 2.5 years down the road. Let's do a good job now. We just got to keep at it.
Would you want to be president?
No, look, I know this is going to sound like the typical job. I'm going to be in this job for the next 2.5 years. I'm going to do that job. I'm going to finish the job for this president. I'm enjoying it very much. I think we're going to make a lot of good things happen. JD is a very good friend of mine. If JD runs for president, I think he'd be a phenomenal candidate. I've said publicly, and I'll say it again, I'll be the first person to sign up and support him. I think JD would do great.
Okay, so what's happening here? These polls are coming out, and the Secretary of State is outpolling the Vice President consistently. Okay, I guess you could weigh in on that. Here's my concern. What? This is a huge open door for the media to drive a wedge between these two guys. And these two guys really need to meet behind the scenes and come up.
Absolutely.
And it looks like they are, because it's the same answer.
Right, because they both say they're friends, and apparently they are.
And they need to protect that at all costs.
Absolutely. And I don't know what you think about who should be the next candidate or what, but I will say this. I've always said I don't care which one it is, but the more I see Marco Rubio, the more I think this is the guy. And what would be wrong with J.D. Vance being vice president for 12 years?
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I could say is Marco Rubio is really showing a level of statesmanship and complete answers.
Phenomenal.
Okay.
Yes.
Secondly, I don't know if this is prophetic, but it is worth noting. On several occasions, the late Rush Limbaugh said, this was long ago when Marco Rubio just became senator from Florida.
All right.
He said, Marco Rubio will be president of the United States someday.
Amazing.
Okay.
Wow.
So the numbers are but these two guys really need to protect the institution.
Yep.
Of both their jobs, from Secretary of State to Vice President, and the institution of the presidency, and they need to protect themselves from the baloney that the that the press is going to throw at them.
And they're savvy enough. They understand the press. The Alphabet Soup press is going to do exactly as you have indicated.
Yeah.
I think they know better.
They need to protect that. Well, this is an interesting story. Athens, Greece. Now, how often have we done a story from Athens, Greece? Huh?
Okay, this is the first.
This is the first.
Okay, what?
President Trump, Athens, Greece reports, President Trump has the historic opportunity to cement his place as the leader of the Western civilization for thousands of years by helping Greek officials to broker an agreement with the British to bring back the parts of the Parthenon on top of Acropolis that Britain's Lord stole hundreds of years ago.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Well,
So can you imagine if the president negotiates from the UK to give the top of the Acropolis back?
that's interesting, yeah. Yeah.
Because it's sitting somewhere in the UK.
Yeah, well, you know, we know that there are ancient artifacts that have been taken to various other countries throughout history now.
Right.
And so this is interesting that this portion is being addressed. I don't know. I wonder how the negotiations will go.
Well, let's see what happens with that. All right, those are some of the top stories. Those are top enough.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson along with Melinda Robertson, and we're here to say thank you for your continued support of the Dove.
Because of your faithful support, lives are being changed every hour of the day.
If you'd like to donate safely and securely in helping the Dove spread the gospel, click on the support tab at theDove.us or mail your donation to the Dove at this address.
Thank you for your continuous support of the Dove.
And you can support the Dove today safely and securely online at theDove.us.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Thursday, the Miracle Man.
From the moment that I got there that night, they said, I know that you're in shock right now, but your husband really is a miracle.
Hit by a car going 50 miles per hour.
I did not think that he was going to be able to walk again.
And lived to tell about it.
He's doing far better than we could ever imagine that we thought that he would do.
How he left the medics stunned.
He is the healer and the God of miracles.
Thursday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back. Happy Thursday to you. Taking a look at some regional news. This is kind of interesting. The Portland City Council finally got an earful about whether or not they are going to put money into the Moda Center to keep the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, this is really brewing, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
And this doesn't seem to be going well.
No.
It's a high probability, which would be just unbelievable, that the Portland Trailblazers will pick up and leave.
Right, and you know, if they do, you can blame the SDA for it because the council is filled with these, or DSA, Democrat Socialist America. And you know what? They've gone into the Democrat Party simply because that party is vulnerable. You know, they should just reject them and make them start their own party.
Yeah.
But that is part of the problem. Now, let's, you know, a lot of people don't like it when taxpayers have to kick in to do some of these projects. The state's already okayed half of the expenses. So a portion of it is going to go to the city. Last owner, Paul Allen, built this thing with his own money. They haven't put a dime into this thing, and they have made millions through the years on the Moda Center.
Yeah.
And so this new guy who came in, bought the team, and doesn't have any ties to Oregon, and now is, you know, looking at this as a business, you know, says, well, wait a minute. Yeah, this is a common occurrence. This happens everywhere. And by the way, if you guys don't want to do this, I know of at least 2 or 3 other cities that do.
Well, there are citizens that gave them an earful, both pro and con to it.
Sure.
And the cost is anywhere from $400 to $600 million that the city would have to cough up.
Well, they don't have to. They only have to cough up a portion of it.
Yeah.
Half of it's already going to be put up by the state.
Well, okay. So I don't know. But the point is that most people that came to the city council believe that keeping the Trailblazers is not worth the roughly $400 million the city will have to pay out.
Okay. And that may be so.
And that could be,
Yeah.
this would be really sad. So I don't know, where would they go? Las Vegas?
Oh, there are a number of cities, and Las Vegas is probably top on the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on that story. In the meantime, as you know, there was a measure called the Petition 28. This was to stop all hunting and fishing and all that nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they failed to get the number of signatures to get that on the ballot. So in the meantime, gubernatorial candidate Senator Christine Drazan announced that she plans to introduce a constitutional amendment during the 2027 legislature session that would allow Oregon voters to make the decision whether to protect the right to hunt, fish, or cultivate crops and livestock in Oregon as a constitutional amendment. And here's a little bit of what she had to say.
I will introduce a resolution to refer a constitutional amendment to Oregon voters to create a constitutional right that will protect hunting, fishing, and the cultivation of crops and livestock. If the legislature comes together and passes it, as I believe that they absolutely will, the people of Oregon will have the opportunity to decide whether these activities and the way of life they represent deserve constitutional protections. And I trust Oregonians to make that decision.
Okay, so this was an attempt by the really far left to shut everything down as it relates to farming, hunting, fishing. It was just a crazy petition, but they didn't get enough signatures to get it on the ballot. Then in the meantime, the governor weighs in and said, quote, Oregon has also the tradition of careful consideration by the voters before any changes are made to our Constitution. I support both traditions being honored. In other words, she's kind of like saying, this is a big issue. I need to weigh in on it.
Yeah.
So in some ways, Senator Drazen has the governor chasing her on this issue, which is a good position to be in. All right, so we'll see what happens. Just so you know, it's a constant poll out there, polls being what they are, okay, that Christine Drazen is ahead of Tina Kotek, okay, but Governor Kotek. But the problem is the governor has more money than Drazen does. But I don't know in today's world if that really means anything if people are fed up.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
we've seen some elections just in the last 24 hours where the numbers were clearly in favor of the Liberal, and they got put out.
Yeah, that's
so we'll
true.
see what happens.
Yeah.
And then just as a little bit of a reminder, how bad the fires are in Oregon, where we have over 2 million acres burning. The state is under a bad air environment. In fact, air quality advisors are in effect for most of the Pacific Northwest. Air quality near some of the wildfires reach well into the hazardous territory, and the IQ Air listed Portland's air quality as the worst in the world at one point yesterday. And among other 120 major cities that they tracked, Portland was the worst. So Portland's got the problem. I mean, look, we're in a mess. California's in a mess. This is unreal season. We're pushing, I think, 2.2 million acres in the state of Oregon that has burned and continues to burn. Now, they are getting a lot of handles. If you go on watch duty, you can see where it goes from the orange to the gray, which tells you they're getting control of it, which is a good sign. But in the meantime, wow, it's just been a bad year all the way around. All right, take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on out there. Severe clear dominates, and we have hot temperatures, triple digits today and tomorrow before it starts to back down. So take that into consideration, that your pets have shade and water in the shade.
All right. Well, the reconciliation bill is in the news, and Senator John Kennedy, we love some of his quotes. They're the best. But he joined Fox Business's Larry Kudlow, and he responded to Kudlow's concern that the reconciliation bill just doesn't cover what Americans are concerned about, paying more in taxes than they do on food, housing, and clothing.
Well, I know you know this, but I want to make sure your listeners know that only the majority leader in the United States Senate can bring a bill to the floor. I can't do that. Only Senator Thune can. And he is, I have great respect for Senator Thune. I don't mean to be critical, but I'm not part of his inner circle. I'm not part of Republican leadership. I play outside the pocket. I'll never fit in completely in any group. That's one of my best qualities. All I can tell you what I would do is if I were king for a day, I would put the budget resolution, which starts the reconciliation process, I would have put it on the floor a long time ago. I would have put it on the floor right after we finished the one big beautiful bill. Well, actually, after the last reconciliation, when we had to get money for Border Patrol and ICE, I would have put it on the floor then. I would have taken plenty of time to talk about affordability, to talk to pass bills about election integrity, and the things you're talking about. But we didn't do that, and we still haven't done that. And I can't honestly look you or your folks in the eye and tell you when, if ever, we're going to do that. I'm prepared to stay here as long as it would take. I've been to a squillion meetings to talk about this stuff that could have been an email. I'd rather have a back alley colonoscopy than go to another meeting. It is time to vote. We're not going to reach agreement. It's time to vote. That's why God made votes. That's where I am anyway.
I I'm making notes. A squillion. A squillion and a back alley colonoscopy. Oh my goodness.
Well, there's a
oh man,
he comes up with good ones.
He does.
There is a picture, cartoon out there that shows Senator Thune sitting on the edge of a table there that you would have in a doctor's office, like an examining room on the examining table.
Yeah.
And the doctor comes in with an X-ray, and it says, "John, your problem is you don't have a spine." and I say that respectfully, but the problem is we found out that John Thune, Senator Thune, seems to be a real softy. He doesn't seem to have the fortitude.
Right.
This SAVE Act is embarrassing.
It is. Yeah, totally.
But so I don't know. I suspect he will. If the Republicans retain the Senate, I suspect he'll be voted out of leadership.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, well, I'm going to go check something out in an alley, I guess. Gosh, we'll be right back.
Whom shall I fear? Whom shall I fear? I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Pastor Jack Hibbs, championing religious liberty, a deep love of God, freedom, and America. You may have seen him in the news during COVID as he pushed back against government-mandated church closures. Now you can see him on theDove TV every weekend on Real Life with Jack Hibbs. Learn, grow in your faith, and impact the world with authentic biblical teaching. Watch Real Life with Jack Hibbs Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on theDove TV.
Well, good morning to you. 24 minutes before the hour. Jerry's here. Leg and all.
Look out.
There we go. Anyway, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. Be careful out there. It's hot. It's dry. It's smoky. You know what? Makes you irritable.
Yeah.
Be nice.
Don't do it. Don't go there.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Across America, anti-Israel activists have been disrupting all kinds of things, especially congressional races, community get-together. This is really something. Anyway, CBN News has a special report on that this morning, and Dale Hunt has it. Let's check in with them.
Across America, anti-Israel activists have been disrupting congressional town halls and shouting down Democrat lawmakers.
If you cannot behave respectfully, then leave.
How many more innocent Palestinian civilians will you allow to be killed by Israel?
Can we talk? Israel was attacked by an openly genocidal terrorist group.
Washington State Democrat Congressman Adam Smith has seen his home vandalized and a fire set in his driveway by anti-Israel activists. A staff member was also physically assaulted at a town hall. Smith says he's given up trying to hold in-person town halls because they're continually disrupted by anti-Israel demonstrators.
I have been unable to hold a town hall meeting for a year because
bunch of leftists show up and scream at me and don't let anyone else speak. You talk about illiberal, okay, having people stand out in front of my house, screaming death threats at me and threatening my wife.
A longtime supporter of Israel, Smith joined more than 100 other Democrats last month to vote for the Massey Amendment that would cut off military aid to the Jewish state. Although the amendment failed, it still caused a political earthquake, showing how far support for Israel has dropped among Democrats in Congress.
The more victories the anti-Israel types have, the more the regular Democrats are afraid, and the more they're afraid, the less likely they are to be pro-Israel.
Adam Turner, Deputy Director of Government Relations for the Zionist Organization of America and a former Senate staffer on Capitol Hill, says for the first time some Democrat lawmakers refuse to even meet with members of his organization.
Which is sort of shocking. I mean, I used to work on the Hill, Senator Arlen Specter of Pennsylvania, and we were told that, when a constituent comes in, no matter where that person is on the issues, you treat them with respect, you bring them in, you listen to their concerns, and they wouldn't even meet with some of these people. So it's a real problem.
Among pro-Israel Democrats, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's home has been firebombed. Representative Jared Moskowitz of Florida has received threatening voicemails targeting himself and his family. And Representative Josh Gottheimer says the FBI told him it disrupted a potential large-scale attack on pro-Israel members of Congress. How much of the threats and intimidation played a part in causing Democratic lawmakers to drop their support for Israel? While it's impossible to know for sure, the numbers show a big change. In 2024, only 17% of House Democrats voted against aid to Israel. This year, the number voting against the financing package grew to nearly half. Democrat Senator John Fetterman has consistently criticized the party for becoming more anti-Israel. Michigan U.S. Senate candidate Abdul El-Sayed, who opposes helping Israel, won Michigan's Democratic primary Tuesday, despite suggesting in a call to donors that Fetterman should be defeated, referring to him as an ogre whose head should be put on a pike.
Ideally, you put one ogre on a pike, and then everyone else gets the message.
Democratic leaders have yet to condemn the speech given by Hassan Piker to the College Democrats of America National Convention last month. Piker called for ousting Democrats who support Israel. He's also said the U.S. deserved 9/11, that he backs Hamas over Israel, and has called Israeli and Orthodox Jews inbred and psychopath.
I'm not saying that everyone who's critical of Israel is an anti-Semite, but it's certainly a big part of the drive there.
David Harsanyi, senior writer at the Washington Examiner, says moderate Democrats are allowing the party to be pulled away from support for Israel.
Because that's where the energy is within the activist class of that party. And for me, at least, I mean, where you stand on Israel, and again, I'm not saying Israel does everything perfect, to me is a kind of a moral IQ test. If you're defending Hamas, if you're with the Iranian regime, if you're flying a Palestinian flag in a protest, I'm almost certain that you hate America as well.
By one estimate, only about a third of American Jews vote Republican. That number could potentially see a dramatic increase if hostility to Israel within the Democrat Party and threats to lawmakers continue. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Well,
wow.
Gosh, this deserves a talk show, but
absolutely, yeah.
The only thing I can say is that America, I really hope we wake up what's going on here. There's a cancer now that's metastasized itself to our soul, and we're going to have to do something. This is all of this is radical Islamic based.
Yeah.
From Mandami to that.
Absolutely.
And we need to wake up to this deal. And I don't know what the Democrat is going to do that's caught into something they don't want to be a part of.
You know what it is? You see this team voting going on. Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, who opposed Abdul El-Sayed, now immediately endorsed him. Team voting is going to happen. They're blind to what the real issues at hand.
So we're in a spiritual thing. This is very biblical.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know.
Makes you,
I got to be careful.
Makes you want to look at the weather.
Let's look at the weather.
Okay.
With whatever. What do we have today?
We got root beer floats, baby.
Oh gosh, do we need one now?
Oh,
well, you know
yeah.
what?
What?
The Trail Babes. Can I say that?
Yeah, you just did.
Brought a 3-gallon tub of ice cream over there.
Oh, do we have any root beer?
We don't have any root beer. I got Coke.
Okay.
You could do a Coke float.
It's a substitute, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And there's some milk or half and half over there. You could make a milkshake.
Just clog my arteries right now.
Why not?
Okay.
What else does your leg need? We'll be right back.
No, let's look at the weather.
Well, look at the weather.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, patchy smoke gives way to sunny skies with daytime highs reaching the mid to upper 90s in Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Smoke continues through the Willamette Valley with sunshine and 97 in Salem and Eugene. Albany climbs to 96, while Corvallis tops out near 95 with a calm northwest wind. Central Oregon stays hot and sunny with smoke persisting in Prineville near 100, 98 in Bend and 97 in Sun River. Over in Boise, smoky, sunny, and hot with a high of 101. Starting off sunny along the Oregon coast, then through the day, decreasing clouds in Coos Bay and Crescent City in the upper 60s to mid 70s. In Port Orford, sunny and 71, while Brookings settles into the upper 50s. Across southern Oregon, patchy smoke gives way to sunny and hot skies with Grants Pass and Medford both reaching 107. Ashland climbs to 102, while Klamath Falls tops out in the upper 90s. Sunny and hot weather in Northern California with a high of 103 for Wairika. Redding reaches 104 and Chico 102, while Fort Bragg starts with patchy dense fog before turning mostly sunny in the low 60s. Around the Bay Area, fog, then sunny skies bring Santa Rosa to 83 and Napa 85, decreasing clouds in low 70s in San Francisco, while San Jose becomes sunny with a high of 88. Across Central California, sunny and hot weather continues with highs near 100 in Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto. Fresno and Visalia have a daytime high of 104, while Bakersfield tops out near 105 with temperatures cooling in the low 70s later tonight. And that's a snapshot of Thursday's weather from Grange Co-op.
Yeah, time for a look back because millions have grown up with it, but many of us were alive for the arrival of the World Wide Web on this day in history.
On August 6, 1991, the World Wide Web made its public debut, opening the door to a whole new way of sharing information over the Internet. Created by British computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee, the web introduced the idea of clicking hyperlinks to move from one web page to another, changing the way we learn, shop, work, and connect, something we take for granted today. The first website was incredibly simple. It explained what the World Wide Web was and even taught people how to create their own web pages. But even 3 years later, we were slow in catching on, as we see from a clip of the Today Show in 1994.
Well, Allison should know. What do you
is
say
Internet
about Allison?
anyway?
Internet is that massive computer
Right.
network, the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what Internet is?
Can you explain what Internet is?
Well, wait, you know what's missing out of that report?
What?
Al Gore.
I was going to say, the guy's name's Tim Berners-Lee, not Al Gore. Perfect, you got it. That is the takeaway.
What happened to that? What happened to Big Al?
He kind of got burned on that one.
That he did?
Yeah.
Gosh, that's good. Remember that?
Oh, boy, do I.
I invented the Internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, really? Okay. All right.
Yeah, he also invented the climate change crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, inconvenient truth, is that what it was?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take an inconvenient float break. We'll be right back.
All right.
Boundless and free, grace for the broken and sinner like me, grace that can pardon and cleanse me within, grace that is greater than
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Jerry's Historical Archives. U.S. history. Great moments in time. Record breakers. Our music through the years. Historic leaders. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Nostalgia.
It's a wonderful trip down memory lane with fun and interesting stories you might not know about. Relive the past and learn something new.
Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
Orthodox Christianity has existed for 2,000 years. Yet many people know very little about its history, its worship, or the ancient Christian faith it preserves. Hi, I'm Paulina Leiser. Join me each week as we explore the beauty and depth of this historic Christian tradition and its place in the modern world.
Don't miss The Ancient Church, conversations about Orthodox Christianity. Sundays at 6 p.m. on the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back. 11 minutes before the top of the hour. As you know, the president has withheld the big one against Iran. Saudi Arabia asked him to step back, Qatar, the UAE, and even Iran. So he did. He stepped back. And had that plan gone forward, Israel was a part of the attack. To what degree, I don't know. In the meantime, the president's been a little upset with Netanyahu because he thinks that Netanyahu could be interrupting his disarmament plan for Hamas in Gaza. Right. But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says, you know, look, we're not going to sit here and take shots from somebody. That ain't going to happen. Yeah. So I asked Ruthie Bloom. Ruthie is one of the leading editors for the Jerusalem News Syndicate, the top place to go and get informed there in Israel. So I asked her about this. I said, what's the take between the two? And the Prime Minister saying, no, he's going to stay in the game. Here's what she had to say.
This deal, it's more like was called a plan, a 20-point plan that was kind of general, that was signed with Hamas months ago. And President Trump, a few days ago, announced that now the 15-point plan for implementing that deal was agreed upon, and it's a whole breakthrough with Hamas, etc. Now, I have to say two things. It's not that Netanyahu just rejected it. There's a certain part of it that he said we can't live with. But Hamas actually rejected it because what the deal says, or this part of the plan, one of the clauses in the 15-point plan says that Hamas will gradually disarm. And each time it disarms a little bit, Israel will withdraw a little bit from Gaza and eventually withdraw totally. Now, first of all, Hamas, what its definition of disarming is, was completely different from the, let's say, spirit of the plan. Hamas says, no, we're not going to give up, not our personal weapons. In other words, you know, if we have our own pistols and things like that. And the other weapons are not going to leave Gaza, and we're not going to destroy them or get rid of them. They're going to be put in safekeeping in Gaza in the hands of Palestinian technocrats. Now, you have to understand that the whole point of demilitarizing Gaza, from Israel's point of view, was disarming the terrorists, destroying all the tunnels, and making sure that Hamas never poses a threat again and never is able to rebuild. Of course, Hamas disagrees with that, even though it signed the deal with the United States and the Board of Peace was created. What Netanyahu rejected today and yesterday was the idea that Israel is going to withdraw from even an inch of where it has. Israel now controls about 60 to 70% of the Gaza Strip, and militarily, and has been killing terrorists every time they creep out of their terrorist tunnels. Now, what Israel rejected, what Netanyahu said was, we are not withdrawing at all until Hamas is completely disarmed.
You get all that?
Portions of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look, we're right back where we always are. We're trying to make a deal with somebody that just keeps breaking the deal.
Right.
I think the bottom line to Hamas is the finishing of the job in Iran so that they don't get a paycheck.
Right, and also cutting the funding.
Yeah.
It's obviously Iranian proxy, and there's work going on behind the scenes to do exactly that. If they don't have the money to give them arms and ammo and stuff, they wither and die. So, yeah, it's an interesting combination. I have a question. What is the state of the relationship between the president and Netanyahu right now?
Oh, I think it's fine. Look, they're brothers, and they're going to have their disagreements.
Okay, good.
But nothing on the table that says that, we've turned against each other by any means.
Right.
The press would like to say that, but no, I think they're fine. And in fact, I think what we don't know, we don't know what's going on in the Situation Room. You do this, we'll do that.
Right.
You do this, we'll do that. You do this, we'll criticize you. You do this, you criticize us. I think that's going on.
Right, and we see the Alphabet Soup Press wants to kind of inform us or lead us to believe that Netanyahu leads the president around by the nose, and that is certainly not the case.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah, isn't it though?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you never know when the training that you receive, especially and even the training that you receive at work, may save a life, and here is a case in point.
A Michigan family recently reunited with the bartender who saved their 6-year-old son's life after he began choking on a peppermint at a shopping mall. The first hero was Oliver's 10-year-old brother, Hudson, who immediately realized something was wrong and tried to help. Then, 27-year-old bartender Devin Forrest rushed over. Thanks to CPR training he had completed just 1 month earlier, he stayed calm, dislodged the candy, and saved the little boy's life. Days later, Oliver's grateful family returned not for a meal, but to thank the man who gave them their son back. Fighting back tears, Oliver's mom told Devin, "Thank you doesn't cut it." It's also a reminder that one business owner's decision to pay for CPR training didn't just benefit an employee, it helped save a child's life.
And you've had that happen here too, haven't you? The CPR training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's they bring in these rubber things and you're supposed to pound on them.
Dummy. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we actually should do it again. We should have a refresher course on that.
Yeah.
All right, take with you Psalm 37, verse 39 today. This is a good one. The salvation of the righteous is from the Lord. He is their stronghold in the time of trouble. Well, there's a promise for you today. Take that with you and be careful. It is really hot out there. It is muggy. That's kind of refreshing. A little fog over the Bay Bridge this morning.
Looks cool.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. The traffic is only down 3 cars from what it was last time. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The world has a view, but God has the vision. An inspirational talk show blending heartfelt storytelling with practical insight to help you live with clarity, compassion, and vision. Join Alveda King Tuesdays on theDove TV.
Visit fishlakeresorts.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
Having Kelly's be an automotive shop that takes care of people first is everything that you could hope it could be. customer service and caring about others first is extremely important, and why we come here, why we keep coming here, and now why our children come here. The first experience they had with Kelly's, got in right away, took care of them, was honest with them, and they were like, I'm going nowhere else but Kelly's from here on out. And so just in one experience, you have 18-year-old kids being like, that's where I'm taking my car.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. Oh, shine.
Washington Watch with Tony Perkins is your watchful eye on the nation's capital. Every weeknight, covering current events, issues of faith, family, and freedom from a conservative Christian perspective.
Washington Watch, thanks so much for joining us.
Bringing you up close to newsmakers, members of Congress, and prominent pro-family leaders from across the nation.
That's just the tip of the iceberg of the threats and the dangers that children are facing online.
Tony is the president of the Family Research Council, a former state legislature, ordained minister, police officer, and veteran of the Marine Corps.
Terrorism experts are sounding the alarm.
And welcome to the Washington Watch News Desk.
Washington Watch with Tony Perkins is your leading source for what's really happening in our nation's capital.
Well, this is a state issue. The federal government shouldn't be forcing these states.
Don't miss Washington Watch with Tony Perkins. Weeknights at 6 only on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. You're watching the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative for San Francisco and the Bay Area. Seen on KURK3 and these Dove TV affiliates. Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you, and happy Thursday, better known as Friday Eve. Jerry Bilden's in the house.
I'm back.
He's back.
Yeah.
Yes, leg and all.
Like a bad habit.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
We can take care of that.
Yeah.
We have pills.
No pill's gonna cure our ills.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Thursday. A lot going on in the news. We are plagued with bad air. Throughout almost the entire state's really fighting it. Air quality not good. Mm-hmm. On top of that, triple digits yesterday, today, and tomorrow before it backs down a little bit. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot in the news, and as we speak, it looks like that they're voting congressional contempt charges against Dr. Fauci in the committee inside the Senate.
Some interesting happenings.
Yeah,
going
quite
on
the
here.
day. So a lot going on in that department. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing pretty good.
Okay.
How many people? It's National Fresh Breath Day. Now, my breath is fresher than my leg, but, you know, it is what it is.
All right.
But, you know, get in there, brush your teeth. It's all about appreciating oral hygiene and its importance, and it certainly is important, and it's kind of an indicator. If your oral hygiene isn't quite up to snuff, I guess it can play out in your breath, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
So do you floss?
Yes, and we we floss, brush, and water pick. Yeah.
Well, as I asked you earlier, do you ever had a water pick fight with Pam?
No, but it has caused all kinds of commotion on my texting here. Because, you kind of encouraged us to try a water pick fight. And I'll tell you what, even Pam weighed in on it.
Yeah.
You look out, honey. So I don't move as well as I used to, so I'm probably going to get a little wet in the process, but
That's
it's
all right.
It's good, clean
it's
fun,
all in
right?
fun, yes.
Yes, all
Do you
right.
put mouthwash in your water pick?
Oh, no, that's a good idea. I like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
no,
do-
because I'm brushing my teeth. I rely on Crest for that, you know.
Okay, so you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
and then you fill your little water pickup.
Yeah.
Pour some mouthwash in there.
Something I learned long ago, I got to tell you, because you know I'm a 3-cup on the way into work kind of guy. That's what I do. But the last thing I do before I come out here, brush my teeth.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
get
else?
that too.
I even brush my tongue.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, what do
you know, your tongue holds bacteria and odor. Yeah. Come on.
Well, try some mouthwash in your water
pick. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Don't put Simple Green in there.
You
don't want to do that.
Okay. Great advice. Mark that one
mouthwash.
down.
You want to put mouthwash.
Got it. Okay. Well, it is. It's also Social Engineering Day. Aims to raise awareness about social engineering threats and promoting better cybersecurity practices. And when I think of social engineering, I think of what's going on in the left in this country. You know, and all these agendas that seem to be laid out in front of us, and social engineering at its height. So, you know, we should be aware of what's going on. And, you know, a lot of it is propagated on the internet.
Yeah, well, classroom.
Yeah. And, you know, if it's on, you know, the old saying, if it's on the internet, it must be true. Right?
Yeah, the interweb.
The interweb, that's it. It's also, and this is a challenge for some, and I'm one, it is National Wiggle Your Toes Day. So it encourages us to show the digits on your feet. Wiggle them. Yeah, and give them a little extra attention. And I got to say, it has been a challenge. And, you know, thank you, Pam. It's one of the things as a caregiver, you know, close, you know, because for a while it was really tough just to get down there, you know, do anything with them. And so maybe I'm exposing a little too much here. Yeah.
You're on borderline.
Yeah, so.
Have you ever had a pedicure?
No, you know, we do that stuff ourselves. You know, it's interesting because I have someone in my family, near and dear, a sister-in-law, who got a horrible, horrible ingrown toe infection. And she lost her whole big toenail, the whole thing.
Ooh.
She never cares for her own feet. It's all pedicures. And then we started reading about it and thought, you know how many ingrown toenail issues happen to people who deal with pedicures? So I guess you got to be very aware of it. So no, we're about self-care in my family.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
The problem I have with pedicures, I fall asleep.
Oh, you know what? That could be a real problem. That's a good sign, though. You know, if it's that relaxing, you know, you got my interest.
Oh.
I could do something like that. Have you seen those pedicures that they have in some Asian countries where they have these little fish that they put your foot in the tub, and these little fish come and eat the parasites and the bacteria on your feet?
Yeah. No, not that one, but I don't know. Anyway.
Wow, the things you learn. Okay, let's take a break. We only have one thing to consume. It is National Root Beer Float Day, reminding us to float a scoop of vanilla ice cream in an ice cold mug of frothy root beer. The classic beverage creates a creamy treat that has been loved by generations, and it goes all the way back to 1893. It was known as a black cow. It was probably made with sarsaparilla, huh?
It probably was, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and that was all the way back in a mining camp in Colorado, invented by Frank J. Wisner of Cripple Creek, Colorado. And I don't know, you know, what guys were going into the saloon and asking for a black cow. I don't know how that worked, but it's been around for a long time.
Where's A&W?
A&W, you know what? We were talking about A&W. In the last hour, we thought, because they're famous for their root beer floats, right?
Yeah.
And then we're thinking, well, they're all gone. But Blake says there's one in Florence.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go to the
I said, let's go. Road trip.
Road trip.
All right.
All right. Good stuff all the way around. Well, let's see if the weather's going to cooperate for a road trip.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, patchy smoke gives way to sunny skies with daytime highs reaching the mid to upper 90s in Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Smoke continues through the Willamette Valley with sunshine and 97 in Salem and Eugene. Albany climbs to 96, while Corvallis tops out near 95 with a calm northwest wind. Central Oregon stays hot and sunny with smoke persisting in Prineville near 100, 98 in Bend and 97 in Sun River. Over in Boise, smoky sun sunny and hot with a high of 101. Starting off sunny along the Oregon coast, then through the day, decreasing clouds in Coos Bay and Crescent City in the upper 60s to mid-70s. In Port Orford, sunny and 71, while Brookings settles into the upper 50s. Across southern Oregon, patchy smoke gives way to sunny and hot skies with Grants Pass and Medford both reaching 107. Ashland climbs to 102, while Klamath Falls tops out in the upper 90s. Sunny and hot weather in Northern California with a high of 103 for Wairika. Redding reaches 104 and Chico 102, while Fort Bragg starts with patchy dense fog before turning mostly sunny in the low 60s. Around the Bay Area, fog, then sunny skies bring Santa Rosa to 83 and Napa 85, decreasing clouds in low 70s in San Francisco, while San Jose becomes sunny with a high of 88. Across Central California, sunny and hot weather continues with highs near 100 in Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto. Fresno and Visalia have a daytime high of 104, while Bakersfield tops out near 105 with temperatures cooling in the low 70s later tonight. And that's a snapshot of Thursday's weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, another look at the Bay Bridge. It is overcast. It looks cool. The traffic is slow, and a lot of us are happy we're not in it. But good look at that on this hot day. Hey, what do you got? What do you got back there? Somebody came knocking on the door. Oh my goodness! Check this out. Oh my goodness! Our viewers and listeners are the absolute best. There's going to be a party going on here very shortly, huh?
Well, we got the ice cream from the Trail Babes. And you know what's cool about this? Thank you, brother.
Yes.
It's A&W.
It's A&W. It's the real deal.
Look at that.
Outstanding. I love this. Oh, gosh. What are we going to do the rest of the show for talk?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, moving on to the next segment here. You know,
give it a try.
Yeah, I know. You know, check this out. What a great set we got here. You know, in our walk with the Lord, oftentimes, and we know that we want to be in God's will, but sometimes we have a little bit of trouble recognizing or realizing what that may be. Well, here Dr. David Jeremiah takes an encouraging look at one way we can know the will of God in our lives today.
I've often had people ask me over the years, how do you know the will of God for your life? And it's a legitimate question, and we should always be pursuing a knowledge of God's will. But there are some things we already know that are the will of God. How many of you know that if you read the Bible carefully, you will find passages of Scripture where the Bible just says, do this, no options, no opportunities to do anything else. This is God's will for your life. Don't forget it. Don't stop doing it. If you're not doing it, start doing it, right? 1 Thessalonians 5:18. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. What part of that don't we get? One of the undeniable parts of God's will for every single Christian is in this verse. Giving thanks is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you and for me. Could anything be any clearer than that? And the contrary aspect of God's will is just as clear. And this is a little bit touchy, and if this bothers you, good. If you're not grateful, you are out of the will of God. That means complaining, grumbling, pessimism, despair. These are all out of the will of God. If it is the will of God to give thanks, then we're out of the will of God if we don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Good stuff. Well, 11 minutes past the hour. We're kind of recovering here. We just had a faithful listener come up, knock on the door, well, the window over there.
Yeah, we saw him through the window.
Held this up.
Yeah.
Why? Today is Root Beer Float Day.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
Uh-huh.
And so we have the ice cream.
Uh-huh.
Wow. It may be a first come, first served basis.
And I know I'm gonna get over there first.
So let me ask you this before I go to the news.
Okay.
Do you put the ice cream in first or the root beer in first?
I put the ice cream in first. Well, wait a minute. Let's talk about this. I didn't know there was an option. I always put the ice cream in first and then slowly pour in. I mean, just ever so slowly pour in because it foams up.
It foams up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, if you put the root beer in first, do you know how much put in there before you start scooping the ice cream? How do you do it?
I don't know. It's some people will give you a college course lecture on it.
Okay.
I just.
But yeah, all right.
Okay.
Well,
you know the other thing about root beer?
Huh.
Do you notice this little thing right there?
No caffeine. Oh yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Well,
Root beer has
it's
no
okay. I've had mine. I don't need any more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
But that's good.
Well, thank you, brother, for thinking of us this morning. Wow. All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories. And it started off with early this morning, the Senate hearing as to whether or not Dr. Fauci is going to be brought up on contempt charges. And this was one of the opening statements by Senator Ron Johnson as to why he should be brought up on contempt charges.
Last Wednesday's hearing was an excellent hearing from a standpoint of legitimate questions being raised, legitimate questions the American people want answers to, legitimate questions that some of them only Anthony Fauci, Saint Fauci, Mr. Science could answer. And even though we have quotes of him saying, I'm not afraid of any oversight committee, I'm happy to talk to any oversight committee, I have nothing to hide, that's not the position he took last Wednesday. What he displayed last Wednesday was contempt for Congress.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Scott, is the hearing still going on? Do you have it? Okay, let's go to the hearing just for a moment.
I just wanted to thank you for your work and commitment on placing the American Glove Act of 2026 on the agenda for the next markup. It's important that we make certain that we are never left to be dependent on the Chinese Communist Party for critical PPE. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
This concludes the August 6, 2026 markup. This business meeting is now adjourned.
Back earlier, the vote, I think, was 8-5, if I remember correctly, to hold Dr. Fauci in contempt of Congress. This is a really tricky deal because he was given blanket immunity by President Biden. Mm-hmm. He comes to the hearing, he makes a statement, then he declares the fifth 111 times. Right. That in itself is a little bit of a legal quagmire. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to get out of that. Right. Okay. Now that he's been charged with contempt of Congress, does he go to the Senate for a full vote, or does he go directly to the DOJ? Right. And there is conflicting reports on that one.
Right. And if they do find him in contempt, what happens?
Well, he goes to jail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's another portion that I didn't hear it brought up this morning during the hearings, and that is the obstruction possibility. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Now, you got to remember that the Dr. Fauci has been given federal immunity. He has not been given state immunity. Okay. So it's very possible that states could file civil charges against him. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I think they want to see where this contempt charge goes, and how far it goes. Right. So.
And is the hangman's noose his diaries?
Oh, well, and maybe his phone.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with all of this. It's very complicated, but I don't know. When you listened to that hearing a week ago, you were so angry when you got done with it. You go, "This is unbelievable. This is happening right in front of our nose."
Absolutely, yeah.
But the other story is that Russia is getting missiles from North Korea to use against Ukraine.
Yeah.
And this has got the international community upset. Mm-hmm. So apparently Russia has begun deploying North Korean missiles, the unit that is equipped up to 120 ballistic missiles and 6 launchers that are now being used in the war against Ukraine.
Well, it says a lot about Putin, I think, because we look at North Korea as an outlaw government. They've had boots on the ground already for months, and now missiles. What an unholy alliance this is.
Well, it just adds another twist to this war. Should have been over a long time ago. Yeah. But it does leave questions. Is Russia this depleted in their military that they have to get assets from North Korea?
That is the question, yeah.
Okay, and their military seems to be somewhat of a paper tiger because you sneezed and their tanks fell apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and the fact that Ukraine is still standing in itself is a miracle. But folks, at the end of the day, this is about real estate and religion. And I'm surprised that Putin, I don't know, I thought there was some moral character there that would prevent him from killing innocent people.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know.
Okay. A new poll is out, shows that Secretary of State Marco Rubio outpolls Vice President J.D. Vance for the 2028 presidential election. Kind of interesting. Big numbers. This was done by the Centennial Institute at the Colorado Christian University, pulled it out. 85% of those people wanted to vote for Rubio, 49% to Vance. Now, those numbers don't seem to be...
Yeah, they don't kind of add up.
They don't kind of add up there, but it's a significant lead. So, of course, this is an open door for the media to get between these two guys and create a problem. But they're buddies, and I hope that they conspire behind closed doors that when this comes up to put it down quickly. And here's a little indication that possibly are already doing that. Here's Vice President Vance, followed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Oh, man. What I think is there are a few topics that I want to talk about less than what office I'm going to run for years down the road when I'm having a good time and trying to do good work in the job that the American people already elected me to do. Look, as I've answered this question probably in any number of ways. I love Marco. I think he's a great Secretary of State. He's become a very, very dear friend. But I think both of us are very much focused on accomplishing the American people's business right now. If I was the American people, there are few things that I would hate more than a person who's barely been in one office for a year and a half, who's angling for a job 2.5 years down the road. Let's do a good job now. We just got to keep at it.
Would you want to be president?
No, look, I know this is going to sound like the typical job. I'm going to be in this job for the next 2.5 years. I'm going to do that job. I'm going to finish the job for this president. I'm enjoying it very much. I think we're going to make a lot of good things happen. JD is a very good friend of mine. If JD runs for president, I think he'd be a phenomenal candidate. I've said publicly, and I'll say it again, I'll be the first person to sign up and support him. I think JD would do great.
This is an interesting development.
It is. They just have to be careful that that the media doesn't find a way to get in between them and make a story that's not there.
Right. And I don't know how you feel about it. I've always said that I don't care which one it is in the next campaign cycle, the election cycle, but the more and more I see Secretary Marco Rubio, the more confidence I have in him. He is very diplomatic. He always seems to be on the side of the president in a lot of announcements of developments and such. And so the more I see it, and I think the American people as well, the more confidence they have in him. So my question is this for J.D. Vance. What could be wrong with being vice president for, say, 12 years?
Well, I don't know. Look, I think they will be a team of some sort.
I think so.
Okay, and how that works out, I don't know. The late Rush Limbaugh said several occasions before he died that he, and this goes clear back to when Marco Rubio became senator from Florida. He said someday this young man will be president. I don't know if that was prophetic or not, but I think what's getting Marco Rubio so much attention is that we've never seen a Secretary of State step into the job and have such command of it so quickly. He just knows it. And he will have a better feel as a result for global politics amongst anything else. But he seems to be very polished. And the other thing is, he knows how to handle the press.
Yes, he does. And you know, the other thing, I can't wait to see him out on the campaign and talking to the crowd in Spanish.
Yeah, he can do it.
Oh, boy. Oh, I can't wait.
Well, this is a weird story, ladies and gentlemen. How often do we do a story from Athens, Greece?
Oh, golly. Mark it down. Today's the day. Number one.
I think this is the first time we've ever done this. However, the folks there are saying that President Trump has an historic opportunity to cement his place as the leader of Western civilization for thousands of years by helping Greek officials broker an agreement between the British to bring parts of the Parthenon atop the Acropolis that British lords stole hundreds of years ago to the top Greek government. Now, I didn't know this piece of history, that the Brits stole that?
Well, you know, this has happened throughout the ages, and there are bits of ancient antiquity that have been redistributed across the globe in many places.
Okay.
And this is another example of it, so this is quite a move.
Well, apparently the parts to the top of the Acropolis seems to be somewhere in Britain, and maybe those are pictures of it there. And those pieces could be returned. Now, the question is, does Greece put them back up there?
Oh, that's a big question.
Or do they put them in their own museum?
Yeah, and on display. Yeah.
I mean, you'd want to protect them. You wouldn't want them out there in the open.
The elements, yeah. Right. Interesting.
So anyway, when does President Trump have time to negotiate this deal?
The guy's so busy. I watched a clip of him this morning, and yesterday they're rolling out the Trump accounts for kids. And, And so he's got this young couple up there, and they got their kids on stage with him. And as they're talking, one of the little ones goes wandering off to the edge of the stage, like he's going to walk. And Trump bolts over there, grabs him, and he goes, "We don't want a Biden event here."
I saw that. That was pretty cute.
Man.
Oh gosh. Aren't we having fun?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, we're now engaged for a root beer float. Look at that. We'll be right back.
That is greater than all my sin. Yeah, grace that is greater than all my sin.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? When you want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life, call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Do events in the world leave you confused and scratching your head? A world where up is down and down is up.
I'm Perry Atkinson. Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
And I'm Jerry Bilden. Mornings on the Dove alerts you to issues and events the mainstream media would rather you not know or know the truth.
A lot in the news today, some movement around in the Middle East, common sense discussions on today's headlines, and rational perspective on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world, there's one place you can trust to get it straight.
Check into Mornings on the Dove each day to find out what's really going on and to be encouraged.
Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on the Dove TV and radio. Streaming online at thedove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dove, encouraging and informative. Pastor Jack Hibbs, championing religious liberty, a deep love of God, freedom, and America. You may have seen him in the news during COVID as he pushed back against government-mandated church closures. Now you can see him on the Dove TV every weekend on Real Life with Jack Hibbs. Learn, grow in your faith, and impact the world with authentic biblical teaching. Watch Real Life with Jack Hibbs Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on the Dove TV.
Good morning to you. This A&W root beer in front of us here is a gift by a faithful listener and viewer.
On this root beer float day?
I said, "What's your name?" I'm a faithful listener.
Oh, nice. All right.
So, in other words, he was an angel.
Yes, there you go.
And he drove up with 4 of these A&W root, because today's root beer float
day. And you know what? I didn't know they had, we think of maybe A&W root beer as perhaps the quintessential root beer. Check out, they own the domain name rootbeer.com.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, how about that?
Wow, good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at some regional news. And the big one for us here in Oregon, will the Trailblazers stay in Oregon? there is a real possibility that Portland could lose the Trailblazers. This is getting more and more serious as the Moda Center apparently is in need of great repair. The team is saying, come on, city, cop it up and get going. If not, we're gone. And this is more than a threat. This is a real possibility. Yeah, well, apparently the city council yesterday heard an earful of both sides of the equation, and they're really, what are they going to do? Some people say do it. We need to keep the team. The others said, why in the world? The Portland Trailblazers is not worth roughly $400 million in city money.
Well, of course, the council is infected with DSA members.
Yes.
And now, it opens up that whole debate, Perry, about should public monies be involved in these type of endeavors. You know, we see NFL stadiums, NBA arenas and such. But the bottom line is that has been the case for years and years and years. Now, this particular center was built by Paul Allen with private money. And especially the city of Portland has made millions on it in taxes through the years. And the state has already said they will kick in for half the bill. And so they want the city to kick in for a portion of it as well. So, and if the city doesn't do it, there are many others who will line up immediately to say, yeah, come here.
Las Vegas.
We'll do it. Las Vegas, probably top of the list. And
well, here's another problem.
What?
And that is the new owner is not an Oregonian.
Exactly.
Okay, and he looks at Portland as a city in decline. Why in the world do you want to be here?
Exactly, yes.
You could go ahead and throw $400 million into this place. I don't know if you can sustain the crowd, and you would really appreciate the business that we bring to town.
Yep.
Because your restaurants are closed and your places are all goofed up.
And the bottom line, if Portland loses the Trailblazers, they will never ever get another NBA team again.
Does this tank their effort in trying to get a
baseball team?
Baseball team.
You bet. You bet.
Well, you know that. You're a sports guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, with a funny thing on your leg. Okay.
I belong.
All right. Well, we have an interesting and exciting gubernatorial race going on in the state of Oregon. There's a high probability that Senator Christine Drazan could become the next governor of Oregon, Republican. She's a great gal. Had her on the show. Plan on having her back. But as you know, there was a petition out there called Petition 28, and it was a petition basically, and I'm going to just surmise this, to end fishing, hunting, certain kind of ranching and farming. It was a crazy petition to stop, because anything that was perceived as a cruelty, I guess. And so the petitioners did not get enough qualified signatures to get it on the ballot. So Senator Drazan jumps out in front of this, and she plans to introduce a constitutional amendment during 2027 to protect these activities, and here's what she had to say.
I will introduce a resolution to refer a constitutional amendment to Oregon voters to create a constitutional right that will protect hunting, fishing, and the cultivation of crops and livestock. If the legislature comes together and passes it, as I believe that they absolutely will, the people of Oregon will have the opportunity to decide whether these activities and the way of life they represent deserve constitutional protections. And I trust Oregonians to make that decision.
Okay, so we'll see. But in the meantime, the governor thought, she's out in front of this. So the governor came back and said, quote, Oregon also has a tradition of careful consideration by the voters before any changes are made to our Constitution. I support both traditions being honored. In other words, she was saying, me too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Kind of interesting. And then one other thing, all you got to do is step outside, you realize the air quality is pretty bad. Yeah. Oregon has well over 2 million acres burned or burning in the state. And yesterday, Portland got another little bell-ringing identity. The IQ Air listed Portland's air quality as the worst in the world at one point yesterday morning among the approximately 120 major cities that it tracks.
Wow.
So Portland's got the problem. We've had it. We've seen it.
We have. Yeah.
We've seen it like this down here. And outside today, we have it. So, folks, another triple-digit don't let this temperature and condition get to your temperament, but also be wise. Keep things cool. Make sure you have a shady spot for your animals and cold water left in a cool place for them as well. So those are some of the top stories. Let's check out Wall Street for a Thursday. Thank you, Preston at Smartlawn. Nice guy, good guy. His wife has ice cream. The Dow's off a little bit after some big gains. It's down only 23 points this morning. The Nas is up 47, almost 48 points this morning, and the S&P up a little over 10 1/3 points. So kind of a mixed bag this morning. But look at the Dow, 54,000. That's unbelievable. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at gold, silver, and the rest of these guys. Let's see what's going on. Gold's coming in this morning up a little bit, 43.23. That's another $100 up. Silver's at 61.87, and crude oil's back up about $1, maybe a little under $1, $80.87 a barrel. There you go.
Yeah, well, on the heels of that report, here's a pertinent report with the polls showing that the public does not support the GOP on the economy. What's the alternative? Let the socialists run it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Well, Fox Business's Larry Kudlow asked Senator John Kennedy of the Republicans, have they figured out a way to beat the socialists? Let's listen to this.
Well, I have listened carefully to the members of the Graham-Plattner wing of the Democratic Party, like Dr. El Sayed and others. And the only possible explanation is just real strong drugs. In some really blue areas of the country, what they're selling may sell, but in the rest of the country, what they stand for will get you a psychiatric evaluation. Our scheme, if you will, our protocol for beating them is very simple. It's called Operation Let Them Speak. I mean, these folks have contempt for America when they should have gratitude. They want to open the prisons and open the border and defund the police and defund ICE and abolish Thanksgiving, and they want a government-run economy. And American people aren't going to, they're not going to support that kind of nonsense, Larry.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope not. Because part of the game is let's make it so bad that you don't vote because you're going to get discouraged and say, why bother? And number two, you're so disgusted with everything, you just kind of poke your nose at it and turn the other way. That's part of the game, is to turn you off. And so this is serious. This is a cancer in our culture. And the question is, are we going to cut it out, or are we going to go ahead and let it take over?
Yeah, and part of the problem, again, is what I refer to as team voting. You know, Democrats tend to vote Democrats, and, you know, it happens on the right as well. But we see it with Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, where Syed has won the primary. And she was in opposition to him and propping up his opponent. And now that he's won, she's towing the line. She jumps right in and is now endorsing him. So, you know, we're going to probably see more and more of that, where people vote the party line without realizing what the issues and what these people stand for.
Okay, well, we took a vote and we decided yes on A&W root beer floats. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson along with Melinda Robertson, and we're here to say thank you for your continued support of the Dove.
Because of your faithful support, lives are being changed every hour of the day.
If you'd like to donate safely and securely in helping the Dove spread the gospel, click on the support tab at theDove.us or mail your donation to the Dove at this address.
Thank you for your continuous support of the Dove.
And you can support the Dove today safely and securely online at theDove.us.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
We are moving. We are so excited to share that Habitat for Humanity Rogue Valley's administrative office and our Restore will soon be moving down the road to our new location at 2655 South Pacific Highway.
This move is really about making sure we will be able to continue serving families in Jackson County for years to come. Right now, we're building 16 homes in Jackson County, 12 right here in Medford, and finishing 4 in Ashland. Our mission is not changing. We're still building homes, building hope, and partnering with families right here in Jackson County.
The Restore is getting a new home, but we're still the same Restore you know and love. We'll still be accepting donations, offering great deals, and keeping usable items out of the landfill and raising funds to support Habitat's mission. We are so grateful for everyone who has supported Habitat and the Restore over the years. This move allows us to keep growing, keep serving, and keep building a stronger future.
Same mission,
same highway,
new home.
We can't wait to see you there.
Okay, welcome back, Jerry and me.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news as we check in with CBN News now, because a lot going on in the Middle East. And now, as you know, there was going to be a huge attack Sunday that got called off. Big deal and everything else. Now there's concerns again about the deal. How many times have we been to this place?
It's a revolving door.
It's a revolving door. Anyway, so Joshua Swanson has the update from CBN News this morning.
Iran and Oman have agreed on the parameters for a temporary 60-day shipping corridor through the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian deputy foreign minister says negotiations are nearly complete.
We have made significant progress in our discussion with Oman, and this progress is on the verge of being finalized.
Under the proposal, inbound vessels would coordinate with Iran, while outbound traffic would be managed by Oman. Iran says the strait will not fully reopen until the United States lifts its naval blockade and ends attacks on Iranian ports. President Trump says a deal could come at any moment, calling it Iran's last chance. But there are reports Israeli officials are concerned Washington is pursuing an agreement at almost any cost. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu signaled Wednesday that Israel is prepared to act alone after a post by Israeli media reported that Iran's Revolutionary Guards commander admitted they're pursuing a nuclear weapon.
Today we heard the commander of the Revolutionary Guards explicitly declare Iran's intention to continue developing nuclear weapons. Well, I'm also determined to continue preventing Iran from possessing nuclear weapons.
Meanwhile, another front is heating up in the Red Sea.
The Yemeni armed forces were able to target the Saudi oil tanker Wafa in the northern Red Sea, off the coast of Yanbu, with a number of ballistic missiles.
This is the 8th vessel targeted by the Houthis since the blockade began on July 22nd. Meanwhile, in Rome, Israel-Lebanon peace talks were cut short as the IDF launched precision strikes against Hezbollah targets, citing a ceasefire violation. Overnight, Israel also announced 2 soldiers were killed and 4 seriously wounded during operations in southern Lebanon. Back in the United States, progressive Abdul El-Sayed won Michigan's Democratic Senate primary, a victory many see as another sign of the Democratic Party's growing shift toward the pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel movement. President Trump had this to say in a speech in Las Vegas last night.
He doesn't love Israel. He doesn't love Jewish people. He hates them.
He has pledged to stand with the Jewish community against attacks, calling anti-Semitism and Islamophobia one and the same.
And Joshua joins us now with more. So what are you hearing from the Israeli military sources about whether they believe this Hormuz deal is genuine de-escalation or Iran simply buying more time to rebuild?
Yeah, from the Israeli defense establishment here, the consensus is clear. This is not a turn toward peace. It's a tactical pause. IDF intelligence sources view Tehran's sudden willingness to sign a 60-day temporary agreement on the strait as a textbook move to catch its breath, right? Assess damage from the U.S. military operations and rebuild its military. Israel points directly to a statement made just yesterday by an IRGC commander who reaffirms Iran's nuclear ambitions. This is literally, as diplomats draft agreements in Oman and Qatar, he's on television talking about rebuilding their nuclear program. This is, of course, what Prime Minister Netanyahu was responding to in his statement yesterday, where he again reaffirmed his position Israel will not allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon, even if that means going it alone in the fight against Iran. And this is also about money, Ephraim, because remember, Tehran is broke. So they're going to use this break in the blockade to secure much-needed sanctions relief.
The proposed deal would give Iran control over inbound shipping coordination. How are Gulf states like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates reacting to what amounts to Tehran, getting a chokehold over the strait?
Yeah, reports are that there is intense anxiety behind closed doors in Riyadh and Abu Dhabi. For Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, granting Tehran formal control over inbound shipping routes through the strait, that amounts to handing the keys of global commerce to an enemy. So the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the leadership of UAE, they've pushed for Washington for a ceasefire, of course, to protect their own energy infrastructure from the Houthis and the IRGC strikes. And they view Tehran's demand for transit fees and traffic monitoring as a dangerous precedent.
Prime Minister Netanyahu hinted at unilateral action against Iran, even as U.S. diplomacy advances. Is there a real possibility Israel could launch strikes independently?
Yes, the threat of independent Israeli action is very real. Prime Minister Netanyahu again stated yesterday that America, of course, remains Israel's greatest ally. Israel will also do whatever, though, is necessary to guarantee its own survival. See, Jerusalem operates on a fundamentally different threat clock than Washington, as in the number of minutes it takes a missile to arrive in Israel from Iran. That's the shot clock, so to speak. And the proof really is in the pudding. So Israel's military readiness, they just reached a new milestone following a successful test just yesterday. They capped a 6-week remarkable upgrade to the entire shield, the entire Iron Dome. We're talking the Iron Dome, the Iron Beam laser was upgraded, the new Spider system was upgraded in late July, and now yesterday, the Arrow system, which is the long-range defense system, they can shoot missiles out of space. So this shows that the defense establishment is actively rewriting its playbook in real time. And if a U.S. brokered deal leaves Iran's nuclear weaponization program intact, if Prime Minister Netanyahu continues to lead the country after this fall's elections, Israel will likely not hesitate to act.
Forgot about his election, too. Yeah. Okay, a lot going on. Let's check out the weather for you as you head down your Thursday.
Here's a look at today's weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, patchy smoke gives way to sunny skies with daytime highs reaching the mid to upper 90s in Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Smoke continues through the Willamette Valley with sunshine and 97 in Salem and Eugene. Albany climbs to 96, while Corvallis tops out near 95 with a calm northwest wind. Central Oregon stays hot and sunny with smoke persisting in Prineville near 100, 98 in Bend and 97 in Sun River. Over in Boise, smoky, sunny, and hot with a high of 101. Starting off sunny along the Oregon coast, then through the day, decreasing clouds in Coos Bay and Crescent City in the upper 60s to mid-70s. In Port Orford, sunny and 71, while Brookings settles into the upper 50s. Across southern Oregon, patchy smoke gives way to sunny and hot skies with Grants Pass and Medford both reaching 107. Ashland climbs to 102, while Klamath Falls tops out in the upper 90s. Sunny and hot weather in Northern California with a high of 103 for Wairika. Redding reaches 104 and Chico 102, while Fort Bragg starts with patchy dense fog before turning mostly sunny in the low 60s. Around the Bay Area, fog, then sunny skies bring Santa Rosa to 83 and Napa 85, decreasing clouds and low 70s in San Francisco, while San Jose becomes sunny with a high of 88. Across Central California, sunny and hot weather continues with highs near 100 in Sacramento, Stockton and Modesto. Fresno and Visalia have a daytime high of 104, while Bakersfield tops out near 105 with temperatures cooling in the low 70s later tonight. And that's a snapshot of Thursday's weather from Grange Co-op.
Oh yeah, time for a look back, and we know that millions have grown up with it, but many of us were alive for the arrival of the World Wide Web on this day in history.
On August 6, 1991, the World Wide Web made its public debut, opening the door to a whole new way of sharing information over the Internet. Created by British computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee, the web introduced the idea of clicking hyperlinks to move from one web page to another, changing the way we learn, shop, work, and connect, something we take for granted today. The first website was incredibly simple. It explained what the World Wide Web was and even taught people how to create their own web pages. But even 3 years later, we were slow in catching on, as we see from a clip of the Today Show in 1994.
Well, Allison should know. What do you
is
say
Internet
about
anyway?
Internet is that massive computer network,
Mm-hmm.
the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what Internet is?
Ask Al Gore.
Well, he invented it. I thought it was Tim Berners-Lee. No, it was, yeah, well, he tried to. He tried to take it.
Al Gore.
Yeah.
Gosh, and he lived through that embarrassment.
Yes, he did.
But he was ridiculed all over the place.
Yeah, but he didn't become president, did he?
No, he didn't. But he became rich telling another lie.
Yes, absolutely. And he got, an Oscar and everything for that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, 12 minutes before the hour. We'll take a quick break, and we have another report from Jerusalem I think you'll find to be interesting when we come back.
Jerry's Historical Archives. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Relive the past and learn something new. Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests, or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Most people have no idea what their money is funding. That's why it's so important to know who you're investing in and what they stand for. At Financial Issues, we help Christians invest with biblical values. Our daily live broadcast covers the economy, markets, and even politics through a financial lens grounded in a biblical worldview. Watch Financial Issues daily at 5 p.m. Pacific Time right here on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you. 10 minutes before the hour. Jerry's here. It's all that counts.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's now thinking about buying a second water pick.
You got to have two to tumble.
Okay. Anyway, good morning to you. Yesterday I had Ruthie Bloom on from the Jerusalem News Syndicate, which is the go-to place to find out what's going on. She's one of their leading journalists and editors there. And I asked her, I said, Ruthie, is it possible, this go-stop thing with the president on the war, is there a division in the White House? Is the Situation Room full of some saying, Mr. President, stop and go diplomatic, and the other one is saying, no, Mr. President, militarily finish the job? Because there is that complaint that he's got a divided cabinet over this situation, okay? Or I should say advisors. I don't know if all the cabinet members, but at least the advisors. And here's what she had to say.
Here's my question. It's not so much whether President Trump hasn't decided which side to go, but whether it is true that the real reason the war has not resumed is a shortage of munitions, particularly interceptors, which the reason being that many were given to or provided to Ukraine in its war against Russia, and the others, many of which were used up, not on the United States, because Iran hasn't fired missiles on the United States, but defending the Gulf states, because Iran has been targeting all of them. So the question is, if there are not sufficient interceptors and munitions, then that's very different from not having the will or the belief in finishing the job. I don't know, because today Hegseth said that it's a lie, that these news reports that there are insufficient interceptors is false. Now, whom do we believe? I hope I can believe Hegseth, because those are very different things. If it is that you can't do it because you don't have enough weapons, or you don't want to do it because you're waiting. Now, there are many pro-Trump Israelis here, pro-Trump, pro-Netanyahu I'm talking about, who really believe that Trump is just waiting for the midterms. And after the midterm elections are over on November 3rd, he is going to resume the war. I'm not sure I believe that. It could happen before or not at all. At this point, I question it, because every time he threatens, he backs down, and then the Islamic Republic makes fun of him. The cartoons are rampant of just totally ridiculing him all over the Arab world, by the way, as well, the Muslim world. And I just can't imagine that Trump doesn't know that, or that he would put up with it. So I'm very confused, actually.
Okay. Well, there's even a headline as we speak that the president is saying the U.S. has massive munitions stockpile. Secretary Hegseth is trying to put this rumor down. So what the media is trying to show is America's in a weak position.
Exactly.
I think the struggle's in the White House. I think he has some that say go for it and some say don't. And it's probably even mixed in with his own family, with Kirshner there, who seems to be saying, let's do this more diplomatically. But the problem is you're getting made a fool of every time you make a deal, and then all of a sudden you walk away with no deal.
Right.
So sooner or later, when do you stop the nonsense?
Yeah.
So, all right, that's what's going on.
All right. Well, you never know when the training that you receive, even training that you receive at work, may save a life. And here is a case in point.
A Michigan family recently reunited with the bartender who saved their 6-year-old son's life after he began choking on a peppermint at a shopping mall. The first hero was Oliver's 10-year-old brother, Hudson, who immediately realized something was wrong and tried to help. Then 27-year-old bartender Devin Forrest rushed over. Thanks to CPR training he had completed just 1 month earlier, he stayed calm, dislodged the candy, and saved the little boy's life. Days later, Oliver's grateful family returned not for a meal, but to thank the man who gave them their son back. Fighting back tears, Oliver's mom told Devin, "Thank you doesn't cut it." It's also a reminder that one business owner's decision to pay for CPR training didn't just benefit an employee, it helped save a child's life.
So are we due for a CPR session around here?
We did. We had this training, and I recommend it. In fact, we should probably do a refresher course. We had all of our staff do a medical emergency training.
Yeah.
And you get these little card things, and I think every company should be trained on that. But, you know, after it's like anything else. You don't use it, you forget it.
That's right.
So we should probably do it again.
Yeah, and also, you know, I don't know if we've had any personnel turnover since then. But yeah, refresher course is good. And some people may not have been here, and I wasn't here.
So I need to know how to save you if you choke on your ice cream on your root beer float.
You know what? It's a safe alternative, isn't it?
Well, I'll just pour more root beer on you.
The only thing I'm worried about is a really massive brain freeze.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, you've had that problem for a long time.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Psalm 37:39. There we go. Okay, the salvation of the righteous is from the Lord. He is their stronghold in the time of trouble. What a great promise. Take that with you today. Be careful out there. There's the Bay Bridge, little fog, cool area there. But in our backyard, triple digits. Be careful.
Hi, I'm Paulina Leiser, producer and host of The Ancient Church. Join me Sunday evenings as we explore Orthodox Christianity, its history, theology, worship, and living traditions.
The Ancient Church, Sundays at 6 p.m. on the Dove TV.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Thursday, the Miracle Man.
From the moment that I got there that night, they said, I know that you're in shock right now, but your husband really is a miracle.
Hit by a car going 50 miles per hour.
I did not think that he was going to be able to walk again.
And lived to tell about it.
He's doing far better than we could ever imagine that we thought that he would do.
How he left the medics stunned.
He is the healer and the God of miracles.
Thursday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV. In a world desperately seeking truth, Cliff Connectley and his son Stuart travel across the U.S. to give an answer for questions, doubts, and challenges concerning faith.
What is the evidence that Muhammad spoke the truth? What is the evidence that Jesus Christ spoke the truth?
Their mission is to ignite a passion for truth, guide individuals to embrace faith, and help people find purpose, engaging skeptics.
It kind of sounds like then that God punished us. The vast majority of chaos in nature is a direct result of God stepping back.
They're driven by a deep commitment for spreading the message of Christ to a world who needs Him.
But you see, what Satan has done is he's put doubt in our mind.
Join them as they strive to make a lasting impact on lives and hearts, sharing the love of Jesus with an unwavering dedication.
Because God loves you, and God has given you gifts.
Watch Give Me an Answer, weekdays at 3 on the Dove TV.
Grab a cup of coffee
and start your day right.
Join us for Mornings on the Dove.
Okay, welcome back, and wow, such an honor and a joy to have with us, I consider a dear friend, and that is Pastor Mark Little's back with us today. He's the host of the Mark Little Show, which is available now on all of the podcast platforms, perhaps Apple being the most popular, but you can go to the marklittleshow.com and be a part of his podcast. Very interesting. Brother Mark, good to see you. How are you, friend?
I am well. Thank you for asking. I need another airport lounge moment with you so we can sit and have Bailey's and coffee and just bond. I miss that.
Me too. Good to see you. It's long overdue, long overdue. You know, this topic, I am so glad you picked it. I guess the first question I want to ask you is, we're going to talk about men struggling. What brought this to your attention?
What brought it to my attention is twofold. One, I'm a man struggling.
Well, thanks for clarifying that.
That's number one. But number two, I counsel a lot of folks, and you know, when you're counseling, you start getting these themes that come up, and people just don't realize that we're all broken, but men in particular, because of what we're called to do in family, when we're broken, it just goes downstream. So I just, God put it on my heart that particular week to talk about it.
Why do you think men bury it and don't deal with it?
Because we are made different from women. Women are verbose. They're made for community in a different way than we are. Men are not deep feelers. We're deep thinkers and deep doers. And when it comes to addressing painful things, it's just easier. I mean, for most people, irrespective of gender, when something is painful, you'd rather see if you can, get through it, move on yourself. I mean, who asks to go and have open heart surgery if they can avoid it? Mm-hmm. So I think it's the same thing. I think life is hard. The things that have happened to all of us are difficult. Some are things that we don't even want to talk about, whether it's because of shame, whether it's because of disappointment in ourselves. There's a variety of things that would prevent people from wanting to share. But what I've learned is when you coax them and let them know that there is a place of healing and a place of rest and a place of being no longer bound, if you will, that gets their attention. The problem for men is that they go and get the healing and then they do it in silence. And that's part two of a particular episode.
Okay, all right. So you opened up a door there. A couple things before we continue to lay the foundation. You mentioned a lot of them, and shame, maybe some things that we've done, whatever. Then there's this one that often is traced back to unresolved childhood issues or wounds. A lot of people say, why go there? That was, 30, 40 years ago. But you and I both know in counseling people that that's a real issue. I'm sure you deal with that, right?
No doubt. And as I say in my podcast, I had a babysitter who touched me. But I've met people and counseled people who far worse has happened. In fact, it changes their sexuality if the wrong gender touches them. It's very deep. And to your point, when these things happen, whether it's abortion or whether it's molestation, and there's a variety of other things, of course, it does impact how we live our lives. It impacts how we interact with one another. It impacts our own psychological well-being. And if we're not healthy, it's hard to help other people be healthy, unless you're wearing a mask and you do it well. But at some point, that mask wearing becomes old. And I deal with a lot of those people whose masks have just become so old. We had a 80-some-odd-plus-year-old woman who came to a No Longer Bound abortion and miscarriage recovery, which is the pastor part of what I do. And she says, I don't want to take this abortion to the grave with me. I need to get free of the burden of having killed my child. And so people walk around stuffing. They walk around with bandages on. And it does impact them and others. We don't even know they're carrying this stuff.
Yeah.
But back to men. A lot of men are hurting.
I eventually want to get to James 5, but right now there's a part before we get there, and that is men will, it's a broad statement, but I realize it can be different for others, but will have a tendency to repent or confess or get it out on the table independently, in other words, alone. But it doesn't satisfy them. It somehow doesn't ring the bell. What do you do with that, Coach?
Well, first of all, I would say to them that that's a great start. The word says, confess your sins. But then it says one to another.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to do the text, you got to do the whole text in order to see the fruit. And that's what I would say to them. And I talk a lot about this in both episodes. We're popular nowadays of going to men's ministries, and that's good. That's a part of discipleship. That's a part of what Hebrews talks about in the fellowship of the righteous. But the reality is that you have to have the intimacy, man to man, to be able to be accountable to one another, to be able to know that that shame you feel is not what you think it is, because others have gone through the same thing. And there's another side. And you can't necessarily lead yourself down a path that you've never been down before by yourself.
So James says two things, and you mentioned one of them. Confess your faults one to another, but it's preceded by a call for the elders. Confess your faults one to another. And then it goes on to say, the key, so that you may be healed.
Yeah.
Now, I have interviewed some people on the Catholic side and the Orthodox side through my years of doing this. And I remember interviewing a good friend of mine. He was an Orthodox priest, wonderful guy, and we had good fellowship. But he said, Perry, I probably saw more healings than you'll ever see in a charismatic church when people finally confessed and got it out, even to the point where he was dealing with exorcisms. Now, that sounds a little spooky and out there, but there's something about it. There's something about this process that James talks about of calling for the elders, confessing to one another, and then it tells you why, so that you will be healed. So if you're, not that God can't receive your confession, that's not what I'm saying here, because he does, but there's something about making yourself accountable to somebody else with that problem. Or am I missing a point here?
No, you're telling us what the Word says, and there's life in the Word. I can stop right there.
Yeah.
We have an inner healing deliverance ministry, and you don't get through the pain of life by keeping your heart sick.
Yeah.
And the other part of that text, one to another, the elders, that's community of righteous men. That's a part of the formula. So if you only do resist the devil and he will flee, if you only do that part, but you miss the submit yourselves to God part, you don't get the benefit of the text. You may get some fruit. You might get an apple or two instead of the tree. I want the tree. So you start with submit yourselves to God.
Yeah.
Resist the devil.
Yeah.
Then you get the flee. It's all together. We don't get to cherry pick what part of the text is going to work for us. I think the church has done that a lot.
All right, let me take a break. I'll come back. I have a big word I'm going to throw at you, so buckle your seatbelts, buddy. I'm always honored to have our good friend, Pastor Mark Little, with us. Check out his podcast. He gets into this stuff really, really well. MarkLittleShow.com is available on all the podcast platforms. MarkLittleShow.com. There's a picture of that landing page. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, along with Melinda Robertson, and we're here to say thank you for your continued support of the Dove.
Because of your faithful support, lives are being changed every hour of the day.
If you'd like to donate safely and securely in helping the Dove spread the gospel, click on the support tab at theDove.us or mail your donation to the Dove at this address.
Thank you for your continuous support of the Dove.
And you can support the Dove today safely and securely online at theDove.us.
Do events in the world leave you confused and scratching your head? A world where up is down and down is up.
I'm Perry Atkinson. Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
And I'm Jerry Bilden. Mornings on the Dove alerts you to issues and events the mainstream media would rather you not know or know the truth.
A lot in the news today, some movement around in the Middle East, common sense discussions on today's headlines, and rational perspective on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world, there's one place you can trust to get it straight.
Check into Mornings on the Dove each day to find out what's really going on and to be encouraged.
Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on the Dove TV and radio. Streaming online at thedove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dove, encouraging and informative.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV.
All right, welcome back. Pastor Mark Little's with us. Always a joy to have him. And he hosts the Mark Little Show, which is a podcast on all the platforms. He has a website. Check it out, marklittleshow.com. And there's a picture of that landing page where faith, law, and politics come together. All right, there it is. Pastor Mark, I was trying to figure out during the break here. The Bible is pretty clear, emphasizing confession, accountability, and bearing one another's burdens. Here's a question to those of us who are involved in hearing these confessions, and that is, can we be trusted? And the reason I ask that is that Christian confidentiality seems to be at an all-time low. We don't call it gossip, we call it sharing. What's your take?
Well, you struck a nerve because I have witnessed many who cannot be trusted. I've witnessed some. I did a whole series on church hurt on the podcast. It's a 3-part series, in fact. That's how big this issue is. And the lack of confidentiality is a part of church hurt. And it is really a sad commentary. So it is true. But I want to speak to both the pastor and the congregant. When people share with us, it is maybe the place where they can't even go to their spouse. You are representative of the pulpit. You're representative of the call of God on your life. And if the sheep can't trust you, certainly they can trust God. But if they can't trust you, you got to answer for that. The sheep are hurting. They're bleeding out in front of us. And we're one of the last safe places for some before they take their own lives. And for the congregants who are looking to confess, whether you're in the Catholic faith or Protestant, you're looking to confess. Lean not to your own understanding. The Holy Spirit will guide you in all truth, guide you to a safe place so that you can find Him, because that is the journey that you're on. Yeah. He can find you in your bedroom in the morning if you call upon Him. He's ever present. If you're in a church where it's full of gossip and you know you can't trust anyone there, the pastor or anyone else, the Lord will hear you and He will guide you, and you will find a safe place to confess. but don't stop trying, because that's where the enemy wants to keep you. He wants to keep you in the closet, hiding in shame.
Okay. This brings up another question. I guess you and I should start doing podcasts together.
I like that.
Okay, so here's the deal. We do a great job preaching about all these problems. And our church has become quite big because we can talk about these problems. But are we preaching to a herding herd of sheep? We haven't touched the sheep. We spoke over the top of them. We haven't touched them. Is that an issue?
That's a big issue. Even when I get up to preach, I look out over the congregation, and I know that many of them, a majority, are hurting.
Right.
And when you branch it out over the various maladies beyond abortion, beyond molestation, talk about secondary trauma, people who are raised in homes with alcoholic parents, etc. The people that we're talking to every morning are hurting. You know, my challenge with ministry, it's become so seeker sensitive that we want people to feel good. And there's nothing wrong with feeling good. The joy of the Lord is my strength, you know, and do a good shout, good praise. There's nothing wrong with that. I enjoy it. But there's a deep, deep need, not just for healing, but for deliverance. People don't understand spiritual warfare and why we have it. And there's another side of this thing. Of course, everything is spirit, you know, and we're living in this flesh. But most things that we're dealing with are hatched in the spirit. And so we've got the need for spiritual warfare. People don't understand, some of us, listening to certain kinds of music, going to certain kinds of places, doing certain kinds of things, inviting all kinds of demonic influence into our lives. We don't even understand it, don't even realize it. Our language changes. The way we see and talk to one another changes. That's because of the things, kinds of movies we go to, inviting the demonic. People don't understand how we open ourselves up to these kinds of influences. So when you look out at a church congregation, it's no different than the world, unfortunately. And there are all kinds of challenges that, as a practical matter, pastors have to deal with and talk about. Most churches don't have counseling ministry. So all these people get is on a Sunday morning. What do you do with that? It's a challenge.
I want to come back to men. Why do we bury it? Why is it male egos? Is it pride? What is it that keeps us from reaching out? Is it look like we're being feminine and being emotional?
You know, there's a lot of responses to that, and it depends on the man. But some men are just so deep in shame that they were touched.
Oh.
They can't bring themselves to talk about it. Other men who may have an addiction of some sort, they haven't had the conviction of the Holy Spirit to stop until maybe it's too late. And so they don't know that they're sick and dying. Other men, I can go on and on and on, Perry, about the various maladies and why a man wouldn't respond. But the reality is, if you don't have a safe 2 or 3 friends that love the Lord, then you're in trouble. You know, I've had a lot of friends who I was very close to who professed Christianity, but their lifestyles were exactly the opposite.
Yeah, I've been around that. What does authentic biblical accountability actually look like?
It looks like transparency based on the Word of God. Yeah. What do you all share? Are you talking about the things that you love to do in the world, or are you talking about your love for the Lord and how you're called to make change in your family and in your community? What's your conversation look like? Are you transparent when you've watched pornography and you have fallen for the 10th time this week? Do you run and tell that friend? Or do you stuff it and you go back to talking about the Sunday game? And you can judge what is transparent accountability yourself. You know. You don't even have to ask. You know if you're being accountable or not. So are you lying to yourself? Mm-hmm. Or are you lying to your friend? My father once told me, if a man can't trust himself to do what he says he's going to do, then nobody can trust him.
Oh, that's so true. We could take off on that, but I want to bring something back into focus here. How can you help a guy to discern the difference between guilt and conviction? Because it's been said conviction drives you to God, guilt drives you away from God. On the other hand, God can use guilt. But it's guilt that's stopping people. But is it guilt? Maybe it's conviction. Maybe God's speaking to that man and say, hey, this isn't guilt, this is conviction. Get right.
I would say conviction is God, by his Holy Spirit, speaking to you. Mm-hmm. Guilt is you knowing what you did and you're talking to yourself.
That's good. Yeah.
Now, here's the problem with guilt. We often allow guilt to turn into shame. And that's where we have the trap. Guilt says I made a mistake. Shame says I am the mistake. And that is also a trick of the enemy, to get you in a place where you have no self-worth. And it's only the conviction of the Holy Spirit to drag you out of it. Yeah. But most people land in shame, and that is the ditch.
Mark, I can't help but think, some guys are tuned in right now. I want you to pray to give them the okay to talk to somebody.
I would love to. I'm talking to every man, but every woman who might be listening. You're not excluded from this. You stand and you pray with us and support the men in your lives, because there's a part of them that you really don't know. Father, in the name of Jesus, I pray for that man. If you're listening to this prayer, just put your hand on your heart as a man, because God wants to touch you. He says, come near. I am the balm. I'm what you need. You don't have to do this by yourself. Father, touch now in the name of Jesus that man who is hiding his sin, hiding his iniquity, hiding his predilections, hiding, and he's warring by himself. God says you don't have to do it alone. In fact, that's a recipe for your own disaster. Your family needs you. Your community needs you. God is calling you to be better, to be healed, to be stronger. Submit, resist, and the Lord has a reward for you, and that's healing. Believe it. By the power of the Holy Spirit, let it convict you now. As you're in your own sin, your own darkness, your own closet, the Lord says, I shine a light on you. There's safety.
Yeah.
I'll send someone. Receive it.
Thank you, brother. Good to see you. What's next? What's your next topic? I'm almost afraid to ask.
The Lord moves on me like today. Yeah. I record on Saturday, so I'll let you know.
Okay. MarkLittleShow.com, that's the website. And, of course, on any of the available podcast platforms out there, check out The Mark Little Show. I think you'll find it to be very inspiring. Good to see you, brother. Love you. Take care.
God bless you, man. Thank you for having me today. This was very special.
Okay. God bless you. See you.
God bless.
Hi, I'm Paulina Leiser, producer and host of The Ancient Church. Join me Sunday evenings as we explore Orthodox Christianity, its history, theology, worship, and living traditions.
The Ancient Church, Sundays at 6 p.m. on the Dove TV.
The Life Essentials Interactive Study Bible by Dr. Gene Getz. The first ever multimedia study Bible with QR codes enabling you to view 1,500 videos. Watch on your smartphone, tablet, or computer with Gene Getz teaching Principles to Live By from every book of Scripture. 250 hours of in-depth teaching. Gene Getz has over 60 years of Bible teaching and is a renowned theologian. The Life Essentials Bible is a seminary in a box. Read, watch, apply. Get yours today for your own spiritual growth or as a gift that will minister greatly to your family and friends. Purchase your copy of the Life Essentials Study Bible at Christian bookstores or go to their website, BiblePrinciples.org, and click on Video Search, where you can access all the principles for free. Take your faith deeper. Get your Life Essentials Study Bible today at Christian bookstores or BiblePrinciples.org.
Pastor Jack Hibbs, championing religious liberty, a deep love of God, freedom, and America. You may have seen him in the news during COVID as he pushed back against government-mandated church closures. Now you can see him on theDove TV every weekend on Real Life with Jack Hibbs. Learn, grow in your faith, and impact the world with authentic biblical teaching. Watch Real Life with Jack Hibbs Sundays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. on theDove TV.
Well, welcome back. And of course, the Middle East continues to dominate the news these days, and very timely for us to have back with us, and I'm very honored to have back with us today, and that is Colonel Wes Martin. He is a retired U.S. Army officer who served in key leadership roles during Operation Iraqi Freedom, including as the senior anti-terrorism and force protection officer for the coalition forces in Iraq, and the commander of the forward operating base there, where he worked closely with members in the Iranian opposition movement. Throughout his military career, he's played a critical role in preventing terrorist attacks and protecting both military personnel and civilian population. What an honor to have him today. His website is colonelwesmartin.com, and there's a picture of that page, colonelwesmartin.com. Colonel, good to see you again, friend. How are you?
Barry, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you for your time, sir. The on again, off again. What's your assessment of where we are today with Iran?
When you say that, I always think of Bill Murray's movie Groundhog Day. And right now we're off again. We're going for negotiations again. Negotiations will break down. And here's the problem with those negotiations. Even if we do get a deal, like Obama got a deal, the JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, Iran was violating it while they were negotiating and continue to violate it. That's who they are. That's what they'll do. So negotiating with them is, all honesty, just a waste of time.
So let me ask you this. Is this a division in the White House? I mean, certainly the president gets this. What's going on?
Be honest with you, I've tried to figure this out. And he doesn't have the right advisors around him. And I've got to be honest. The first term, he had Mad Dog Mattis as Secretary of Defense. Mattis would tell him what he needed to know. He had John Bolton as as a National Security Advisor. John's a friend of mine. He would make sure that the president knew what he needed to know. This time, it's like we're running the Political Apprentice TV show, and people are trying to please the president, and they're not telling him the truth.
Okay. So, a little bit hypothetical. We're going to go into a situation where all this falls apart again, as far as negotiations concerned. I guess my problem here, Colonel, is both the United States and Israel have said the major goal is to de-nuke Iran. Can we do that without a regime change in Iran?
No. And that's the point I keep making. The only way you have got to remove the regime. Trump said after the attacks last February, he wasn't trying to change the regime. Well, then why did he take out top leadership? And that was a good start, because in January, he warned the leadership that if you keep attacking the Iranian people, then I'm coming in. And he did come in February. He should have reached out to the Iranian people at that time. And I've got to emphasize, the Iranian people are very good people. We got to separate them from this fundamentalist regime that's terrorized their lives since 1979, and the Shah before that since 1953. These are good people, and I'm working with them to unite. And this morning I had conversations with both Voice of America to talk to the Iranian people and with the leadership of the primary resistance movement. We've got to bring together the Iranian people and bring Trump's administration, recognizing them and working with them. It's very feasible, and that's the only way we're going to be able to make sure we have a stable Middle East and we don't have the number one exporter of international terrorism running the government in Iran.
So are you saying, Colonel, that the people of Iran would create the regime change better than military action?
Oh, yeah. One thing I got to speak out up front, then I'll answer your question. Every time we stop and we send our pilots back in, those are American warriors. They're fine American warriors. When we stop, we're giving the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps time to reposition their equipment, time to get air defense equipment from Russia or China. Sooner or later, we're going to start losing more than just the one plane we lost. It's got to stop. We've got to stop putting our American warriors at risk with this start, go. Now, back to the issue. The Iranian people are the solution. We cannot put ground troops in Iran. One, the country is just too big and it's too diverse. Also, it would be like George Custer riding into the little bighorn with all those drones coming in at the forces on the ground in Iran. It would also escalate things to a level we don't want. And that's with the sleeper agents. And we know they're in Europe because when Abdullah Assadi was arrested almost a decade ago, when he tried to blow up a resistance conference, the German Polizei found in his vehicle a notebook with the identification of about 20 sleeper cells in Europe. And we got to recognize they've got them here in America. But the Iranian people, the Baluch in the southeast, the Arabs in the southwest, the Kurds in the northwest, the Azeris in the north center, and 55% of the population are Persian. We got to work to bring them all together and to go ahead and fight this regime. They are the solution, short term and long term.
Okay. Can the president survive another letdown with these negotiations? I mean, every time we get to this point, it falls apart. How many more of these can he handle and retain credibility?
That's an excellent question, because in all honesty, even you see myself with the annoyance I'm showing, and I expressed earlier about putting American warriors at risk, and it's increasing. The military is getting a little bit concerned with this start, stop, and we failed. Yes, he puts a great spin. They really want a deal. But the problem is that he is talking to the political leadership, Pezeshkian's folks, the prime president. But the IRGC is the one that's really running the country right now. And to answer your question, he'll probably keep surviving until November election day. And then if the House and the Senate flips, then he is never going to get that supplemental budget that he needs to replenish all the weapons he's been using. Wars are fought primarily on a supplemental budget, additional money granted by Congress. He's asked for another $87 billion. It hasn't come through. If it doesn't come through soon, he's going to have problems. But also, after November, if the House or the Senate flips, he's never going to get that supplemental budget.
So is the current delay political or tactical?
It's political. The military is always ready to go. And you look, we were able to go into Iraq and defeat Saddam. And by the way, we had no legal reason to do that. Saddam was not a good person. I've watched him. He could smile and he could make you feel well and happy, and then he'd throw you in the wood chipper. But he did maintain stability in the Middle East. But the military went in and got the job done. But then it was the politics. that ended up undermining everything we were doing, to include State Department demanding that the U.S. Army turn Saddam over for execution when we warned, you can't do this because it's going to be a lynching. But the problem is the politics keep getting in the way, and they think they know better.
A lot of talk today that our stockpile is dwindling. Is that true?
That's certain types of stockpile. Brad Cooper, the admiral in charge of CENTCOM, he is keeping a close eye on that. And that's why he's sending out warnings on what we need to do and what we don't need to do. So Brad Cooper's keeping that well under control. Yes, every time we use something, until that supplemental budget replaces it, it's not there. But I have full confidence that Brad Cooper will keep us so we can react to another threat. Now, the regular, and this is the high-tech ordnance. Now, the regular bombs, and even the smart bombs, no, the U.S. Air Force has plenty of those in stock.
Okay. Some have said that the strongest weapon we may have is to do everything economically to bring them down. In other words, if you can drive the economy down even further, the proxies don't get a paycheck. But that is also a risk against the citizens. What's your take on that kind of a strategy?
The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, they don't care. They will go without a paycheck. All they need to fight and keep on doing what they're doing is food and ammunition. In this case, the ammunition are the drones and the missiles. And even Mossad is saying that Iran still has about 70% of its drones and missiles. And even the Defense Intelligence Agency, the commander, Jim Adams, said early in the game that Iran still has thousands of drones and missiles. So the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, they'll keep fighting, and they're not worried about pay. As long as they have food and they have ammunition, they don't care what happens to the citizens of the country. Look at last January. They set up machine guns, and by their own estimates, they killed 36,000 protesters. They outright murder. They don't care about the Iranian people, so they'll keep fighting.
Where is Israel in all this now?
Netanyahu has actually been warning the United States about these negotiations and these deals. Israel is now having to deal once again with Hezbollah and once again with Hamas. But the best way to deal with both of those is to bring an end to the Iranian regime. And that's what Israel is warning about. One thing Mossad is very good at, and that is computer network operations, but so is our cyber command. And I've often wondered, why are we not hitting Iran's computer network operations, their cyber? And because within the cyberspace, you have computer network defense, you have computer network exploitation, and computer network attack. And I'm convinced what's going on is Mossad and Cyber Command is working computer network exploitation, because if they did attack, then they would be shutting down their own information sources.
Because, you know, it's been said that Israel's intelligence as to where people are is probably the best. And yet they've been kind of held at arm's length. But on this last attack that was going to happen on Sunday before it was held back, apparently they were part of the plan. They were brought back in. What does that tell you?
That tells me we recognize the value of Israel. Pound for pound, person for person, Israel has the best fighting force. Yes, the American Army, the Marines, and our pilots in all four of our branches, they're very good at what they do. But with the Israelis, person for person, they are intense and they are very capable of what they're doing. We're recognizing their value, and they've been valuable all along. Back in 2018, there was a plot to blow up the resistance rally in Paris. And it was, I mentioned earlier, with Abdullah Assadi in his notebook. He had gone to dispatch a team out of Belgium. They got caught by the Belgian and French police, and the German Polizei picked up Assadi on his way back. Mossad is the one I am convinced gave the information to Interpol. and that's what saved the rally from being blown up. So Israel can never be underestimated as an ally.
The president gave a strong command, I guess you could say, to Israel: don't mess up the disarmament deal with Hamas. And Israel says, hey, look, they shoot at us, we're going to shoot back. What do you think of that?
What that reminds me of is Clint Eastwood was once given an interview in that in his movies, he didn't wait for the other guy to shoot at him. And if there was a threat and there was a gunfight, he shot when he realized he had to. And he said, why would you wait? Even in Hollywood, Clint Eastwood realized that's unrealistic. And you got to admire what Israel did with the exploding pages. Those were made in South Korea. And the South Korean government and the South Korean manufacturers didn't even know it themselves, that Israel was able to slide the explosives into those pages, knowing they were going to be delivered to Hezbollah. And then all of a sudden, when they realized they're about to get hit, they activated those exploding pages, and they took out a lot of the Hezbollah leadership. So Israel says, if you attack us, we will attack back. But also, if we know you're going to attack us, and the threat is real, and our intelligence, our indication and warnings are there, we're going to hit you first.
Well said. One other question on this before I take a break. As you know, part of the holding off on Sunday was the UAE, Qatar, and Israel and Saudi Arabia came and asked the president to hold back. I guess what I kind of scratched my head on this, Colonel, can we trust Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Turkey, Syria, all these people we're talking to? It just seems confusing. It tells me we really don't understand the Middle East.
Oh, we don't. We don't. And I asked, I won't say his name, but one of the former chiefs of staff of the Army, who also was the commander of all coalition forces in Iraq, I asked him one time, how many Americans have, and to include his officers, actually studied the Middle East? And he says very few of them. They were just busy trying to do the job in front of them. Well, in all honesty, how can you do the job in front of you if you don't study the area? And I am amazed that when I was in Iraq, I used to ask people, who was Karim Qasem? Of course, he was the leader of Iraq during the Republic in the early 1960s. People couldn't say. We don't try to study the Middle East. We don't understand their mindset. And one of their mindsets is, when I am in a position of weakness, how can I negotiate? When I am in a position of strength, why should I? And we see Iran doing this.
Is it true the Kurds are trying to help citizens of Iran?
They are trying to help the citizens of Kurdistan. And they're very effective. And that goes back to those straight-line borders that were formed at the end of World War I, when the Ottoman Empire fell. And the Picot-Sykes Agreement, the British and the French came in and just drew straight lines to form those countries. That was wrong. Kurdistan was divided into 4 parts: Iraq Kurdistan, Iran Kurdistan, Syria Kurdistan, and Turkey Kurdistan. The Iraqi and the Iranian Kurdistans, they're working closely together. And they are able to come in and fight in their areas. What I've been hoping they would be able to do is much like the Rwandan Patriotic Front did during the genocide during the Clinton administration. They came south and they ended up securing the whole country. Kurdistan can't go through the whole country. They can help in areas not Kurdistan. But that's where the Arabs and the Azeris, Persians and the Baluch need to come in, and they all need to unite. Kurdistan is an excellent avenue to get the equipment in there, get the training for the people, and then push forward. But all the other regions have got to come together. And I've been hitting on that with the resistance leadership hard.
Amazing. Let me take a break here. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, Colonel Wes Martin has a website, colonelwesmartin.com. There's a picture of that landing page, extremely resourceful, colonelwesmartin.com. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
We are moving. We are so excited to share that Habitat for Humanity Rogue Valley's administrative office and our Restore will soon be moving down the road to our new location at 2655 South Pacific Highway.
This move is really about making sure we'll be able to continue serving families in Jackson County for years to come. Right now, we're building 16 homes in Jackson County, 12 right here in Medford, and finishing 4 in Ashland. Our mission is not changing. We're still building homes, building hope, and partnering with families right here in Jackson County.
The Restore is getting a new home, but we're still the same Restore you know and love. We'll still be accepting donations, offering great deals, and keeping usable items out of the landfill and raising funds to support Habitat's mission. We are so grateful for everyone who has supported Habitat and the Restore over the years. This move allows us to keep growing, keep serving, and keep building a stronger future.
Same mission,
same highway,
new home.
We can't wait to see you there.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. Oh, shine.
Welcome back. What an honor to have back with us today Colonel Wes Martin. He's a retired U.S. Army officer and, of course, key leadership roles there in Operation Iraqi Freedom and others. The honor to have him today. His website is colonelwestmartin.com. There's the picture of the landing page. Colonel, one more question about the citizens of Iran and how we may help them. Do we arm them or do we continue to weaken the regime?
All the above. And we also need to get them the weapons. They do have Kalashnikovs, and they can always make Molotov cocktails, putting fuel in a jar. But they need also the training. And again, you mentioned the Kurds. There are ways to move forward. We need to give them the weapons, but we also need to make sure the weapons properly get to the people. Yeah. That's one of the problems that we had when ISIS invaded Iraq. A lot of the weapons were sent to the Peshmerga in Iraq, but the Peshmerga leadership kept the weapons, and if the fighters wanted the weapons, they had to pay for them and pay for the ammunition. We got to make sure that doesn't happen. So all the above. Let me deviate for a second. We mentioned failure to understand the Middle East. And the first thing to remember is the Middle East in the 1300s was way ahead of the West in science, in medicine. But then things happened in Europe and then later in both North and South America. We went through the religious Reformation. We went through the Renaissance, the age of exploration, the age of enlightenment with like John Locke, which led to the American Revolution, the Great Awakening, the Industrial Revolution, the American revolutions, both in North and South America, the democratic movement in Europe, women's suffrage. And then we realized we haven't got it right. We had to fight the war, Civil War, to put an end to this hideous, despicable thing called slavery. And even then, we didn't always get it right. Look at the French Revolution, the Spanish Inquisition. And we had to go through the 1960s and racial equality in our own country. So it took us hundreds of years to go through all this. And we're expecting the Middle East to go through it in a matter of 1 or 2 generations. It takes time, especially when leadership and fundamentalists do not want to give up control of the people. Hopefully that helps explain some of this understanding deficit between the two.
That's excellent. I think it's a subtle reminder. And we need to stop and consider that. Thank you for for bringing that to light. One other quick question. It seemed to me, forgive me if I'm wrong here, it was awfully hypocritical of Pakistan to offer the place to negotiate some kind of a peace agreement while they were allowing trains to go through their property filled with Chinese armament going to Iran. How do we it seemed to be a conflict there.
I worked with the Pakistani government, especially the Pakistani embassy in the United States, and it is hypocritical. And what I worked with them on was the issue of Kashmir and the problem they have with India. But you got to remember, Pakistan is also the place where Osama bin Laden was hiding out, and just a few blocks away from the officers' college. So it is hypocritical. And China has that Belt and Road Initiative that comes through Pakistan, and that's what they were using to supply Iran. And I'm convinced China is still providing Iran with material. And I'm afraid if our jets start getting dropped out of the sky, it's going to be with Chinese technology.
I want to swing your attention over to another issue. And one of the headlines today is that North Korea is supplying Russia with missiles and missile launchers to fight in Ukraine. A couple things there. Isn't that an admission of how poor condition the Russian military is in? And secondly, this has emboldened Putin to do some crazy things. Where is this war going?
The war in Ukraine is going to remain stalemated. Russia walked in thinking they had it, the massive military, and they could defeat the Ukrainians. Yes, they initially invaded all the way into Kiev, but the Ukrainians were able to push them back. And even back then, I predicted there was one secret weapon the Ukrainians had. Actually, there were two. But the secret weapons the Ukrainians had that the Russians were going to suffer from. One was the resolve of the Ukrainian people, but two was the Ukrainian non-commissioned officer corps, the sergeants. Because I worked with the Ukrainians and the Soviets when I was in Berlin Brigade back in the late 70s, early 80s. And everything was officer makes all the decisions. Then when the Ukrainians came to Iraq, I worked closely with them as the anti-terrorism officer. And initially I saw they were still using that Soviet style of officers make all the decisions. But they started learning from the Americans, and the Americans went over and gave training to the Ukrainians. And those sergeants, our sergeants were teaching theirs how to become effective leaders. So when Russia invaded, they were still relying on generals and senior colonels to make decisions, while the Ukrainians could make decisions on the spot with their sergeants. And that really hurt Russia. And then again, the resolve of the Ukrainian people. Now, Putin feels empowered because he's getting help from Kim Jong-un. And Kim Jong-un feels very influential because you see him walking with Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin. So he thinks he's one of the big three. No, he's just a small player in a big field. In Korea, yeah, he's a big field. But he is able to provide all that additional ordnance. Because when I was stationed in Korea in 2010, he had 15,000 artillery pieces pointed at Seoul with weapons to back him up. He was basically, Seoul is being held hostage by North Korea. But he's able to send all this ordnance, and he's been sending tens of thousands of North Korean soldiers to Ukraine. And sadly, for those people, they give them a weapon, they try to put them up against the Ukrainians, and they get slaughtered. But Kim Jong-un doesn't care.
Does Russia need armament from North Korea?
They do, because people keep saying the United States is running out of weapons. The guy who's really running out of weapons is Putin. And he's running out of the munitions. Yes, they can manufacture, but you got to give Zelensky credit with his military. They now have mastered drones to the point that they're probably, at the moment, ahead of the United States on drone production and capabilities, they're hitting deep in Russia. And like the Americans in World War II, we would hit the industrial base of Germany and the ball bearing plants and wherever they made tanks and planes. That's what Zelensky is doing with drones. And he's got long range. Even look at the Iranians with their drones, the Shahed. Those things have ranges of 2,000 and more kilometers. And like the Arash, it has a 600-pound payload of explosives.
Yeah.
So the drones, the Ukrainians have really figured out how to use them. And that's what's holding Putin back. This war is going to remain a stalemate until, I hate to say it, well, actually, I do hate to say it, until the Russians rise up and somebody takes out Putin. This war is going to continue.
Okay. That was my last question. How long do you think that'll go on? Do you think, one last question, I only got about a minute left. Do you think we will resume full military action back in Iran?
If we do, it needs to be done with the Iranian people. Like being a member of the U.S. military, it's getting very annoying, as I mentioned a couple times earlier, on again, off again, on again, off again. If we go in, the president has got to change his strategy. He's got to, if he activates the military, he needs to work to activate the Iranian people. And they're willing. They just need help.
Colonel, you're fascinating, and thank you for your time. We value it greatly. Hopefully we can stay connected. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out his website, colonelwesmartin.com. There's a picture of that landing page, extremely resourceful, colonelwesmartin.com. Thank you, my friend. I don't know how you sleep at night knowing all the things you know.
I do a lot of work outside. I impersonate Anwar Sadat, who used to love to work the land.
Good. Good. Yeah, that's therapeutic in so many ways. God bless you, my friend. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become